All right, so here it is. Sadly, we do not have the ever loquacious Barry on with us. It is just me, and the major malfunction right now is we wait for Anthony to come back on. But here it is. It's the Alaboom. Yeah. So how's it going, buddy?
It's going all right. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. I don't know. I had a kind of rough last couple of weeks, and just getting through some family stuff and whatever. But yeah, but on the plus side, on the side of like gaming and things like that, I actually played a lot of stuff and played a lot of cool things and what have you. So yeah, you been playing anything neat? Anything? Any of your swag from Gen Con?
I played a game I bought after Gen Con this past weekend, and I sat down and went through a few of the games I got at Gen Con, and actually hit an old game as well last week. So,
Are you gonna
uh,
actually give us the names, or are you just gonna talk about
yeah,
them
yeah,
in general?
yeah. I'm just going to generalize and not talk
Okay,
about
that
anything
sounds good.
because
That'll
that's
work.
more interesting for everybody. No, I played Archer Love Letter, which is Love Letter with a little bit different mechanicisms in it. I played Quartz. Jacques, Three
Hey,
Wishes.
hey, how was Quartz?
Quartz is okay. I like it. I don't think it's a great game, but it's a kind of game that I enjoy. It's just you just take your turn so quick. You know, you reach in, you pull something out of the bag. There's some screw with your neighbor type of stuff. It feels very light overall, but it's a good something to do while you're waiting on everybody else to get there, or a good wind down the night type of game. Um, that's kind of what I think of it. I'm keeping it. I like it, but it's not going to win any awards. It's
Yeah,
got cool components.
it does. It does. I just read the rules and took a look at it. Um, I don't know. It just seems like there's always going to be more of those games, right? The you'll play it 3 4 times and then put it on the shelf games, which is weird. I mean, it's just, I mean, we've talked about that ad nauseum as it is. About the way board games are now. It's so tough to find something that really fits into that like true evergreen part of your collection that you just know that even though you might not play it for a year, you'll come back around to it at some point.
Now,
And
I
play it
did
again.
play a game that falls in that category of my new stuff, which was Mansion of Madness Second Edition. I really liked it.
Which
Like,
one? Oh, Mansion of the Madness.
yeah, the new one.
Yeah, I
I
haven't played that. I'm trying to get. I've opened it. I've looked at everything. I've monkeyed with it, but it's just a matter of getting people over to my house to play it. I
like the
had
first
a
edition. I never got played, and I've had it for 3 years, and I played this one twice in a day.
Yeah, I got rid of my first edition. I kind of went through all the storylines they had for it, and then I didn't buy any of the expansions or anything. I just kind of was like, well, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was, but then I just kind of moved on. I think it was one of those things where I played it out, and then I was waiting for new content, and I waited so long that by the time new content came out, I had no interest in picking it up at that
Just
point.
didn't care anymore.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited to try this one out.
Let's see. I tried Oceanos from Antoine Bauza from Yellow, which
Which
is
one?
Oceanos.
Okay.
It's the one where you're building a little submarine and you're card drafting your undersea tiles or
Gotcha.
cards that you're getting. It's a light little like kind of like my first card draft game almost. There's plenty
Yeah,
of strategy, but it's not super heavy. It's like a step below Seven Wonders, which I think Seven Wonders is kind of light, but I enjoyed it.
yeah. I've heard that it's really light.
Yeah, it is. It's got really nice thick punch board. The components are good, but
Well, it's yellow. You know it's going to look nice, and you know it's
yeah,
going to be quality. Yellow bends over backwards to make sure their games at
but
least look nice. I mean, Phantom Society was kind of a average to below average game, but the game looked amazing. So I mean, it's just one of those things.
yeah,
That's one weird thing is like yellow is like one of those. I was having a discussion. God, who was I talking to? Was it Travis? I don't know, but we were talking about yellow is that one of those last few big companies that still out there that hasn't been consumed yet. So it's interesting
Right.
to see. And I remember reading somewhere or somebody telling me that like Yellow and Asmodee, like there was actually like real friction between those two companies. So maybe that's why they
Both big
haven't been
French.
consumed.
They're both big players in the French market, in the very small French market.
Hi,
Great.
Travis.
Oh, look, and we even got a gym with the tapestry and everything.
Oh, see what happens when I actually look at my Hangout tab? I see other
Yeah.
people.
There you go.
I was sitting there looking at the games I played instead.
Nice.
I also tried Morocco that I got from Kickstarter from Matt Rill and Ben Pinchback, which
That is a really good game.
it is a really good Euro game. It's the theme is the quintessential pasted on theme, but it's
Yeah.
a nice game. And I tried Simmer, which I got to play that one again. I think it's neat, and it's got neat mechanisms with the worker placement spaces that rotate in and out, but it didn't grab me. And then I played Myth or Mythe or
Tell me
whatever
what.
you call this horrible, god awful, horrible little game.
Really, it's that bad?
I hated it.
I looked.
I never
I
want
haven't
to play it
touched
again.
it. Okay, well that's good to know.
It is cool. It is a neat presentation. The pop-up game board and all that, and a nice little box. But the game comes down to just drawing until somebody gets lucky. And
I think the game is fun. I played it. When I first saw it, I was like, "This is going to be the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life," and it ended up feeling fine.
oh, I did not. I thought it looked cool, but I did not enjoy playing it. I don't want to play it again. I don't usually say I never want to play a game again, but that one's in that category.
Interesting. Interesting. So hey Travis, how's it going, bud?
That's all right. Just working as always.
I'd like to hear Travis's thoughts on Bass since he was posting about that. That sounds
That's all
like
I've
an
been
interesting
thinking about for
conversation.
the last 48 hours of my life is just that game.
I haven't got through the rule books yet because I'm having trouble just
There's
focusing enough because it's so you read a piece at a time, which makes it tougher for me.
I mean, I think like it. I will say this. I think he has done something. The only game I can think that even he attempts to skirt what he's done is that horrible Stronghold Space Cadets game, the one that was just all those little micro games, which was a really neat idea, but like it just didn't come together into anything substantial. It was kind of messy. This one is. I feel like having played it twice now, and with two different groups, where I was the optimist in the group, and not I was the most optimistic. I was the optimist. I wanted to like the game. I wanted it to like blow me away. I feel like the individual roles, like if there was a game where every player was doing what one of the roles was doing, it probably wouldn't be. It wouldn't be that remarkable of a game. But because each player is so different, that is what makes the game worth talking about. I think the goblins are just really confusing, and the rules. There's no cross section. There's no touchstone. So, like for example, the treasures matter to all the roles, and that's like a cross section that the rules could have touched upon, but instead it sort of isolates each role and just says, here you go. I mean, you have never played a game like this. You will sit there. We played for 2 hours, and every turn someone had to look at this 2-page reference because you have all these different abilities. Like your options are really narrow, but like how things interact is what's kind of can be confusing. I don't dislike the game. I almost feel like I think you probably saw what I said, Keith. I feel like the question was that Nick posed was, which I thought was interesting, is this the new 504? Is this guy did something really neat and different, but it probably can be a lot better. Right? So like he's pioneered like this new kind of taking asymmetrical play to this totally crazy out there place. I mean, it's to the point where like the game doesn't even have setup instructions. Each player has setup instructions which comprise the setup of the game.
And I think that's what's taken me so long to get through the rules and stuff, is because it doesn't read like a normal rule book. It reads like 5 different little rule books. And you're right. Nothing ties it together as this is the overall experience. This is your experience, and that's it. Is what it focuses on. I almost feel like I need to be taught this game versus reading how to play it.
I think I'm going to jump in and I'll let you talk in a second. But what I think is what it is with this one is, and I haven't played it yet. Once again, I'm like you guys. I've read the rules. I've looked through it all. This, I think. And I'm not. This isn't. This is going to sound really negative, but this is going to be the game that like the grognards of our hobby are going to say, "Oh, it's like, have you played Vast yet? Oh, you haven't been. It's going to be one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like you need to have experienced this because it's something fresh." And I'll say that. I mean, it's pretty cool. I think you even said that, Travis, in your comment, was that you give them credit for, doing something different, and trying to create something different, but maybe it's just beyond its time. I mean, 504 was something, as you said, creating something different, and people talked about it for about a month, and now it's just yesterday's news. So, what do you do? I don't know.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I feel a little for the guy because I feel like he's in this really interesting place where the Kickstarter did well. He's selling through things. He doesn't have he came to me and asked me about distribution, and I was like, the distributors aren't even going to talk to you. And apparently now they're talking to him. But I do feel like part of that is the distributors have their sort of united front. There was like an email that went out like 2.5 years ago from distributors saying like, let's all unite and not carry Kickstarter games to try to like put an end to the Kickstarter games, taking the lion's share from the stores and the distributors. And I feel like that attitude has probably changed. So, and good for the distributors that they're paying attention to what things that are getting a buzz and whatnot. But I mean, if you ask me to make my professional opinion, I would say he's met his lion's share. The fact that he's got almost 5,000 units out in the world that's a lot. And this game is decidedly hobby. I mean, it is not. It has zero specialty market or mass market appeal. And the truth of the matter is, as much as we all of us alpha gamers like to think of ourselves as this vast majority of people, it's really hard to sell more than 5,000 to 10,000 units to the BGG crowd. Like, it really starts to dry up. One, they burn through the game so quickly. That's one of the biggest hurdles this game has, is what Keith said. Well, I need to play it. Everyone's just like, oh, well, you just have to play it like 3 or 4 times. And it's like, no game is getting played 3 or 4 times unless it's like a LCG or something. No one's sitting down. We are living in the cult of the new. People aren't buying. This isn't 2002. People aren't buying a game and playing it 70, 80 times. Like, just that sure, that still happens, but it very rarely happens. People are just buying games to buy games. People are buying games and playing them once. People are going to meetups, playing other people's games, and they're only playing them once. So for a game to demand that much from its players, I think is a lot. And I don't know that it's in line with where gaming is right now. Well,
that speaks to my grognard thing. The whole like, well, I've been gaming, and now finally here's a game that is an onion that I need to peel. It isn't. It isn't a game that I set up in 5 minutes, has 3 rules, and lasts 45 minutes. So maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Maybe that's what the designer was going for when they created it. So I don't know.
And reading the rules, it does some really interesting stuff. Like the cave roll is the one that fascinates me the most.
I mean, but when you mechanically break down what all the rolls are doing,
right?
None of the mechanisms are really like the mechanisms exist in different games. The fact that it's this pastiche of all these different things, the real uniqueness is the asymmetry, the complete asymmetry. like I said, I was the dragon, and here's what my turns. So when you're the dragon, you have a hand of cards that have three different types of. They're one of three different types of icon. You play them in different combinations to move around the board, eat goblins, land on tiles with treasure, reveal tiles, and there's some interesting, like the dragon has some interesting interplay with other roles, like he wants to reveal tiles because he ultimately what you're trying to do is move these 11 of these 14 cubes off of your sloth track, so it's almost like you're trying to move all these things off just so that you can win the game essentially. But
I
in and of
think you're,
itself,
I think you're underestimating the audience, Travis. I think a lot of the games that do that kind of thing will be played multiple times. Like, there's a lot of games you play these days that are just like, okay, yeah, one and done. I saw everything. But with this game, you have 5 different things to see. You don't think people will play that?
I think there's an audience of people that will play it, but I think there's more people that will play it once and say, cool, I played that, and they're on to the next thing. Right? They're like, what came
There's
out?
always going to be that person.
Sonar came out this week? Like, oh, I got to play that. Like it's more about, I feel like where gaming is, I mean, all I do is play games. Scott, I know your life is games. Also, most of our lives are ruled with games. I mean, you're all in on gaming. Lance is all in on gaming. And I play games with a lot of people, and I would say most of them are Cult of the Noob. I mean, like, savagely Cult of the Noob. Like, every time they come, it's an arms race to bring some game that is obscure and to try to force people to play it, and, like, everyone's just losing, right? Everyone's brought 6 games that they've never played that they want to play, and, like, 4 of the games in total get played.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, because I do that too.
What do you mean it's unfortunate? That's how you're making your money, Bob.
Okay, so Scythe, I mean, well, no, of course. It's a moneymaker, right? For companies that make games.
I mean,
the companies that put out 20 games a year, they don't want you playing the game. I mean, they want you playing the game a lot, right? But they know deep down, that you're only going to play it once or twice. And then you're going to buy another copy of something else.
Yeah, that's it.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be putting out 20 games a year.
That's you're totally. We had one of our meetings at Gen Con TMG. That was one of the things we talked about. How is that we want to make sure that, obviously everybody wants to make good games, right? But I mean, like Michael said, I don't want to make a game that's just to make a game. He said I want to make. I don't want to.
You got to fill the production queue.
Yeah, but he said. But that being said, he said we need something new coming out always.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's and it's weird. It's just
back in the day, a company would come out with like one game every 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, I remember that. And
now that wasn't that long ago. It was like 7 years ago.
And like Travis, like you were saying, like you were looking at like 2017, whatever it was, a couple of dozen games or whatever that you're going to come out with. Same thing with TMG. Like 2017 is just littered with releases that we have planned. So it's just it's different. It's I don't know. It's just weird. But it's all part of that whole changing.
I think if the right game comes along that captures people, like, I don't want to say Scythe because it's captured me, right? Like, I've played that more than. No, I played Rebellion more than that game, but Scythe is like my second most played game this year.
You know what I was gonna say was, but this is so bad on my part. So I missed out on the Kickstarter for Scythe, right? And so I was sitting there, and I was just like, I was kind of searching aftermarket, and like a few people had copies for sale, but I was like, I'm not gonna spend $200 on it. I was just like, I'm not. I mean, I wanted like the collector's edition version, and I was just kind of like, and I thought that was dumb because, that collector's edition version will most likely be made again, so I felt kind of stupid, like, but I mean, I got that inkling, and then somebody out of the blue, actually a guy that like had offered to sell me his extra copy, and we were kind of going back and forth on the price a little bit. He told me when Fun Again had their copies for sale, like the collector's edition for $150, and I dropped the cash on it. Actually, I dropped the cash in the art.
I played the regular version; it's just as good, if not better.
Yeah, I understand, but I dropped the cash on the artist special edition because I think it was like $170. I was like, well, who cares? I'll pay the $20 extra and I'll get the even more special edition kind of thing. And then I got it, and inside the package that I got were the Arkwright first edition Arkwright upgrade, so you could upgrade your first edition Arkwright to the second edition, and also the thing to upgrade your Kraftwagen to the V6 edition.
Okay.
So because they had those for like $5 each, and I just
yeah, I need that too.
I have opened up both of those, upgraded both versions, and played both those games, and I haven't even cracked the shrink on my scythe yet. It's just sitting there, and I don't even know.
It took me by surprise, to be honest. Like,
well,
I don't play games more than one time. Like, really, I don't.
People are saying it's great, and I don't have any interest. I just don't have any interest in opening it up. I keep looking at it. I'm like, well, I'm glad I got it.
Maybe I'll save it for auction someday. Auction.
I'm like, totally. I'm glad I got it.
Trade it for like $200 and a copy of the regular game. I played the regular game at BGG-Con, at Gen Con, at Gen Con. And I felt like I liked it better because it had wooden bits instead of the weird plastic stuff, which is kind of odd.
Here's how pathetic I am. I actually, when I ordered the Art Collector's Edition, which came with the resin bits, I added on for the wooden bits, so I got both.
The wooden bits are great. They're really good. The only thing that's weird is you don't get the magnified map on the back. You don't get that extra piece to make the map really huge, which kind of sucks, but...
It's not necessary to have.
It's not necessary, but it's like, okay,
you might not have a table that the giant map.
Right, you need a giant table for that, and like an extra foot by like another 7 inches or 6 inches.
See, now you're making me want to go on pre-order the standard edition just so I can hold on to that.
Yeah, but the nice thing with the collectors is you've got a wheel for everybody for combat, so you don't have to pass it around.
Everybody has metal coins, right? You can get metal coins anywhere now.
Those coins are awesome, though.
Listen, guys, my wife is.
There's no question.
My wife is sitting in the room, so I have to be very careful with what we talk about my spending habits because I bought Queen's Gambit this week.
Queen's Gambit.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for it? I don't
want to talk about
it. Over 2? Over under on 2?
Over 200. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Hey, Forrest is here.
That's fair. Hey, Forrest.
Who cares? He's stupid.
Aww.
He just looks. He thinks he's so cool because he looks like Cameron Diaz.
Hey, hey, Travis, ask your wife to come on the show.
She just said a not nice word.
Did she flick you off to give me the flick off or whatever?
Listen, I had a friend who did not meet her for 2 years, and he was convinced she was like a Ferris Bueller, like the machine he builds. So like when his sister walks in the room, like the boombox turns on, and there's like a mannequin snoring.
But you and I talk all the time, and you talk about how much you love her all the time. I'd like to meet her sometime.
Yeah, good save, buddy.
Another thing about the collector's edition, it comes with those extra wheels, which are useful. Like passing those wheels around is kind of a pain.
You're a wheel.
So the collector's edition is definitely an upgrade. It's nice, but the regular version.
I also have everything but 2 of the expansions for Cthulhu Wars, and I've never played it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's $1,000.
Wow.
Close.
It wasn't $1,000 for me.
Close though.
It was $2,000.
No.
Did you see Sandy's latest Kickstarter just went up?
No, what is it?
It's the God's War or something like that. I'll find it in a second. I love Sandy Peterson's attitude, though. He's just funny. We had him interviewed at Gen Con, and they reprinted this book that he made like 20 years ago, and it's hilarious. It's a flowchart to determine what the monster is that you're.
It's his Glorantha game.
Yeah.
Glorantha is like one of the oldest old school RPG worlds.
But it's a board game now, right?
Well, yeah. So they made a board game. It was what was the name? I can't remember the name of the old school RPG. Dang it! Give me a second.
Savage Worlds.
No, it wasn't Savage Worlds. It was.
GURPS.
No, it wasn't GURPS. It was like it's.
Risk.
just
Oh,
anyway.
it's about GURPS.
No, it wasn't GURPS or
Yeah.
RIP.
Travis, there's only 43 slots left at the $1,000 level, so better get in there.
He definitely he is I've hung out with him. I played games with him, and he's one of my like idols because he created Call of Cthulhu, which is still to this day easily one of the best RPGs out there.
Oh, you said he was a piece of shit.
No, I never said that ever. The guy is one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet in your entire life.
The giddiness he had talking about old ones was it was hilarious. I just loved it.
I will say he has
Like
the
giddy.
weirdest customer service I've ever experienced in a game company. They asked for the name of the store where I bought Cthulhu Wars because one of my things was damaged inside, and they called and talked to the manager to make sure they knew who I was and if I bought the game. I happened to be in the store, and they asked to talk to me while I was in the store.
Wow.
It was like some, like a resume type shit. I'm like, hey, listen, man, I spent $200 on a game. You shouldn't be questioning me if I'm telling you I need a new component for it.
Yeah. So no, Sandy Fears is awesome. And also the other cool thing was when I was at Gen Con, and I mentioned this last week, but most of you weren't here. But I got to meet Ken St. Andre, who is also one of my all-time RPG heroes, because he created Tunnels and Trolls, which was like when I played D&D and I heard about Tunnels and Trolls, it was a game that didn't use polyhedron dice. It was all D6s. And so it blew my mind that you didn't have to have dice of all different shapes and sizes. So like you could bust open a game of Yahtzee and you'd have the dice needed. Because back in the day, it was tough to get a hold of polyhedron dice. If you like lost some or whatever.
Is Tunnels and Trolls what the game they played in that Tom Hanks movie?
No, that was Mazes and Monsters.
Mazes and Monsters.
Who is in a wind tunnel?
Tunnels and Trolls
Is it
is
me?
the game they're playing at the beginning of ET.
Jesus, what's going on with you, Anthony? Are you in you look like you're in an Emily Bronte book or some shit.
I'm in India.
Oh, you're back in India. That's
yeah.
why you've been disconnecting.
What are you doing? Pretending to be a guy named Steve doing customer service?
Hello, this is Steve.
Hello. No, do you pretend your name is Susan? I got a question for Forrest.
What's up?
So, I picked up Grimslingers, and you were one of the few reviewers to review that game, and I feel like that game is actually relatively unique. You mind talking about that one for a minute?
Grimslingers? Oh yeah, I love the hell out of the game. I gave it like 8 or 10 awards that I've ever awarded out. It's 2 to 6 players, and it's got this dual version of the game, but it's just got so much variability because there's so many different dual cards you can use, and then there's also this single player / up to 4 player cooperative version where it's like you're on a rail, so it's not like the best cooperative experience, but it's really cool. It's got good humor, and there's just an insane amount of variability in the box. I really like that game.
What is that? Anthony, I muted you because I thought you had the
Is it me?
giant vacuum in the
Hey,
background.
mute me, Lance, and see if it's me.
I hear nothing, Lance. I think it's just you.
Oh, maybe it was him. So Anthony, I apologize. I didn't mean I muted you for that reason. And you're talking right now, and we can't hear you, Anthony, because you're muted.
Did you guys look at Grimslingers at all?
I watched a demo of it at Gen Con. I almost bought it. It was
we got
hard
a demo.
enough that I
Absurd.
close, and I didn't.
Beautiful.
It is on Tabletopia to try it out, and I thought about doing that.
It's one of my new favorite team games, I think. Like because you can play it like free for all, or you can play a team game. And when you play a team game, you can kind of work together to just work with your spells, and then you can just draft spells. There's just an insane amount of game in the box. Like I was blown away when I got the review.
It's another one like Vast where I read the rule book and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And then I went back and I read it again, and I still don't know what's happening. I read it again today, and I'm like, all right. And then I watched your video, and because you're crazy, it was hard to tell what was going on. And Aldi, what did you think of that one?
The art looked amazing, for sure. Did not get a chance to look at it that closely, but I think I'm going to bring it on the cruise next week. So.
Did you actually have the game with you when you were reading the rule booklet? I know I normally don't when I read them.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, if you have stuff out, it's easier to set up. And also, there's like this really boring kind of tutorial basic game that'll go you through the ropes that you probably need to do first. Like,
yeah. Do you use the duel system in the co-op version too?
You're facing monsters, so yeah, you do all the stuff. You still duel the monsters. It's different. But, yeah. And like I said, the co-op version is good. It's not as good as I'd like it to be. Like, no matter what choices you make, it doesn't impact the game. But it's still a good, probably 3-4 hour experience if you break it up into different sessions.
Cool.
Everyone I played with liked it. It was a big hit at my game night. We actually played it last week, I think.
Cool.
So who all is playing Seafall, or am I the only one?
Starting on Sunday.
Yeah.
Waiting on my
JR is coming over.
copy still. So.
Well, I'm not gonna say any spoilers or anything. I'm really digging it. It's actually and it was RuneQuest. Anthony, you are correctly. It was RuneQuest was the old school Glorantha RPG.
Yeah, that's part of the basic role-playing system.
Yeah. I'm digging Seafall. If you play the first part, the prologue, and you're like, what? Why is this any good? Do not worry. It gets amazing. So it was weird because like I was playing it and like it was like because there's like the storytelling aspect of it with the passages book, where you go in and you choose different things that you decide to do and things happen or whatever. I'm trying to be vague. But so it was neat when you actually found the game, where the resource collection and the combat and things like that, where it actually then became a board game and not just like a quasi weird Arabian Nights type of thing.
Did you see the review from the guy? All games you like are bad, or something like that. That's his channel.
No.
It's pretty harsh.
He doesn't like Seafall?
Yeah.
Aggressively mediocre, I believe, were the worst.
I've never seen that guy before, actually, but the review was very well done. If you're going to review the reviewer, he's pretty good.
Did somebody finally take my advice and become like the Mr. Cranky of board game review?
No. He might be, but at least he's got some words to back it up. It's not just being like yelling and Angry Joe.
Mm.
Well, Angry Joe has words too. But.
All the games you like are bad.
I think that's the name of it.
Yeah, I've seen his stuff before, so.
I don't care. I'm playing the game.
It's so fucking loud. My wife and I are eating like nuts, and they're seriously. It sounds like there's a trash bag and a tornado.
Domino food. He's only done 5 reviews. So, interesting.
I don't know. I'm doing my best to not become cynical about. I'm trying to be less cynical about the hobby.
It's hard, right?
It's just there's so many. There's this new generation, and I know I've been doing this for only like 5 years, but there's this new generation of people doing this that I just want to like put a microwave in front of their groin and sterilize them.
Is that all?
That's what I want to do every time I'm at the county fair, but.
I actually had some issues with some people when I was doing the interviews because we were just going around interviewing everybody, and 2 separate occasions, people interrupted the interview to pretty much give a business card and ask for review copies of games. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
You have to have your
Did you tell Lance to stop?
I had a
Yardstick.
microphone, and they're fucking. Oh, I was I was like, are you seriously like right now? Do you not see the microphone next to his face?
Talking to the microphone. Oh,
I saw someone go up to someone and say, "Yeah, we do a blog, and we have like 75 people who read it, and we'd like to review these games of yours." And they went on and listed like 6 or 7 games, and the guy just looked at him like, "Yeah, we'll get back to you."
I get one of those emails every day, literally every day.
You know who?
It's your,
so do I.
Mediocrity. What is your theory? I mean, mediocrity.
So,
Yeah,
so
the proliferation of mediocrity.
Yeah.
The weird thing with TMG and review copies though is that almost always we'll send out something. You know, just because we don't want to be. We would rather send out like one of our small box games to somebody, and then just to establish a
See what it
relationship.
is.
Yeah, just establish a relationship with the reviewer, and just.
But
And
you
then-
never know, too, right? There might be somebody that's
You might miss the next Tom
gonna end
Bassett.
up doing something cool, and like you're helping them get a leg up. You might help, like the next Nick from Board Game Brawl as he sets every relationship he has on fire around him.
Or you might help John, who is awesome.
I actually reached out to him, so because we have an upcoming Kickstarter, and I would like him to do a video for us. And I reached out to him, and I still haven't heard back from him. So I don't know what the deal is with that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, Forrest, we use a yardstick. It says,
Yardstick?
yeah, we hold the yardstick up so no one can break the plane of video to the reviewer, to the interviewer. Yeah, so we have a yardstick. It says, "Stay back."
I need to bring in the yardstick. I'll put that
Works.
in next year's Kickstarter.
Yep.
Ah!
Stretch goal. Stretch goal.
Stretch goal, yardstick, and
By the way, you never
$3
sent me
over your goal.
your PayPal address. I need to send you something.
All right.
Yep.
So you know who-
which I didn't get on the.
Scott, I spent like $30 friggin' on your website today on the Geek Store. You got to quit doing this shit.
Thank you very much.
Cyclades and Kemet are like 2 of my favorite games, and you keep coming up with all this like arts and
Some good
crafts
stuff.
shit for
Good
us.
stuff.
Hey, Scott, I spent no money on your website today.
Well, fuck you.
Oh, wow.
Why
That was the
I'm
best.
sorry, Lance.
The
Money.
$80 million man is like, I don't know, did you take a dive on the stocks today? or
Where's
something?
Barry?
Check my stocks. Check
Yeah.
my stocks.
He's,
I haven't checked it.
Barry's
No,
I
not.
put in for a
I'm-
refund of my sponsorship for this year.
Man, I just cannot get over my flu from the con. I'm just like, it's messing with my head.
Hey, Jim.
Anybody else get sick? Am I the only one that got sick? I think it was me and Bebo. We're the only ones.
I didn't get
You didn't
sick
get
at all. Hey,
Man.
Jim, I got something. I got a funny thing for Jim.
what's that?
So, Jim, you know your little booth minion Carl Simmons that works for you?
Wait a minute, is that even a name? That doesn't even sound like real. It's like Bob Henderson or whatever.
Yeah, Carl went to school with my son.
Did Carl tell you about our sordid past?
No, he didn't.
They were lovers.
So Carl was like my pet project for 2 years, where like he hung out this card shop and basically he was like a person that people would like every time he would like walk away, people would just be like, that fucking guy. Because he's one of these people that says actually all the time. And he went, and like,
Actually, he doesn't say it all the time.
no. So the impersonation that people of him have at this card shop is they do this. They go, interesting protons, because all he does is correct people and try to. His way of trying to interact with people is by starting arguments with them. Like he'll be like, one time I watched him go. Somebody goes, "What do you think of the new season of Survivor?" The guy goes, "I think it's pretty good." He goes, "I think it's the worst season that's ever been on the show." And like, I'm like. And that was how he was, but I knew what he was trying to do, because he was trying to engage the person, but was doing it in a combative way.
So he's actually mellowed a great deal in the last 2 years.
Well, he's been shunned from a lot of gaming communities for his know-it-allery, but he and I had a very massive falling out. So a friend of mine, I was playing Magic up at a shop, and I had this guy we did a team draft, and the guy on my team was just an idiot. And Carl came up and like analyzed his deck, and I said, he's like, well, why is he playing this? And I go, well, because he's an idiot. Like, his deck is terrible. He drafted terrible cards. Who cares? And then he was just like, well, I just don't know why you can't tell me why he's doing this. And and I'm like, Carl, what do you want me to say to you? You're right. Okay, you're right. Move on. So then he got mad at me. And then the next day, a friend of mine was up at the card shop, and he texted me, and Lance will laugh at this. He said, and I quote, Carl is madder than a wet hen at you right now. and so I texted him, and I jokingly said, quit shit-talking me. And then Carl, like, freaked out. And then he, like, blocked me on all social media. And then he unblocked me just to say something mean about me and tag me in it. And then he reblocked me. And we've never been friends since.
Sounds like you just have that effect on people.
Oh, here we go. Cool. Why don't you tell me that I have low self-esteem? That's why I joke so much. That's some more.
Well, I can't speak to your relationship with Carl. I can tell you that, from my perspective, he's mellowed over the last couple of years. He's a very good play tester. If you want someone to,
we used him for play testing. We used him for play testing for years.
He's very good, and when he ingests a game, he's probably the best person I've had that can do a 2-hour game, a wonderful 10-minute demo.
He's smart. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't telling you the story to try to defraud him. I just thought it was funny because I didn't realize that he worked for you.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know you guys had a relationship. I'll have to drop that in conversation at some point and just see what happens.
Basically, Jim, what I'm telling you is, if you ever wanted to be my friend, you blew it.
Well, I don't have any friends, so why should I start now?
Well, apparently you're friends with people like Carl.
You have friends.
Speaking of frenemies, where did Salinas just go?
Yeah. I don't know. So, hey, Anthony, how's India, buddy?
It's fine.
He keeps forgetting the NA at the word.
No, seriously. Are you just doing more of the same now out there? What are you doing?
Yep.
Is it possible to get more than a one-word answer out of you?
No.
It's hard to talk
Anthony, can you
in
tell
the
the
room
story?
without eating something.
Can you tell the story yet, Anthony?
Because apparently you should be chewing something while you're talking on here.
Hey, Anthony, how often do you have diarrhea when you're working in India?
Not at all.
All right, hey, everybody, no, seriously. Okay, I want everybody to be quiet because I have something specific that I wanted to talk to Anthony about. So just a moment. So Anthony, I wanted you on last week so you could talk about your Gen Con experience, and I'm not trying to stir the pot. I know you're going to accuse me of doing that, but you were.
Yes, you are.
You were so salty at Gen Con. Like at one point, like you said, you're the only person I'm happy to see right now, and you're almost on the list. And I was just, what? I mean, I realize you probably can't name names, but what the hell happened, man? I never got the story out of you.
It was a wonderful experience. Can't wait to go back next year.
I wanted to see.
How about I tell the cleaned up version with no names and no details?
Anthony, were you
Anthony was stuck running demos until like 10 p.m. every night when he wasn't supposed to be.
Demos for who? Anthony, why don't you
Everybody and their brother. That's who.
come work for me, Anthony, and bring your other son named Anthony.
I just remember Anthony looked like he got shorter and shorter every day because of the weight.
I'll put it this way. At one point, I'm walking across the room, and I run into Doug. I can't remember his last. He's the board game baker. He used to be one of Tom's shows. And he sees me, and he's all excited to see me. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I said, "I'm gonna go find a midget and punch him in the face." And he's like, "Oh, is that an event here?" I'm like, "No, I'm not even kidding around."
Is that an event?
But
I only made everybody work 2 hours and then 2 hours off. Not made, I asked.
We did 4-hour shifts, or you could. We did 4-hour shifts, or you could work an 8-hour day, and then you'd had to work less shifts and get a higher payout for what you did.
Anytime I needed to find Anthony,
Did you get a badge, Anthony?
What's that?
what?
Did you get a GM badge?
Who, me?
No, I had a publisher badge. I had a vendor
Oh, you
badge.
had a publisher badge? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the golden ticket, baby.
That's the minimum. Yeah.
Anthony, come work for me next year.
Can't afford Travis.
Hey, Jeremy Salinas.
I could afford you.
Sorry, guys.
I'll just talk to your wife. Just watch out.
No, you can't afford me. 'Cause if I get pissed off at you, I will say fuck you and leave.
Anthony.
Keith, actually, Keith helped me out Saturday night, so thank you, Keith. He didn't have to. It
I tell you,
saved our life.
I had to because you asked for a favor, and that's what you do for your buddies.
Well, thank you, man.
And I had a good
That's why
time
you've
doing
never
that.
done me a favor ever.
Oh, bullshit.
Oh.
Got you a room to stay in, got you a hotel this year.
Yeah, I'm just having fun. I'm just poking the bear right now.
Yeah, let me know if you need that room, Lance, because I actually have people who would take that room if you won't take it.
Oh, you mean me and what's his face?
Chad.
Yeah, that'll
It's
be
two
awesome.
beds. It's two beds.
Oh well, I might be out on this one if it's 2 beds.
Okay. Well, in last week's episode, it sounded like you were gonna hang out with Keith.
Well, no. I mean,
So let me know.
Well, Keith has got Keith because it's you, Keith, you,
Yeah,
and who else? And then
Me
it's
and Eric,
You and who?
Eric, my quiet friend.
you're part of your entourage.
Well, you would have your own bed if you took the room I'm offering you.
Well, don't I get like the sleeper sofa or something at the other one?
I don't know where
You tell me soon so I can utilize that room.
I will.
We're kind of short on rooms if you hadn't heard.
Keith and I will hammer it out, and then I'll let you know. So, I am going to like the world's smallest con of all time in September. I got invited to this small con in Florida, and whenever I look at the website, I have to laugh because even though I have wrote them and told them that their website actually writes down September 16th, 17th, and 18th, they haven't bothered to fix it. September. Just at this point, I think they're just doing it for fun. I think at this point.
What
So
are you talking about? They did that last year at Grand Con, remember?
it's September.
Yeah, the shirt said Sep Meber.
Well, I don't know about that, but I will not be at Grand Con this year, unfortunately. Yeah, I know you'll be sad. I want you know.
Oh no, I won't have you there sulking.
Oh, here we go.
$500 on a room for you.
Oh,
Hey,
The only funny thing that happened in that whole trip is when Jay, look, we're witnessing the birth of a baby whale, Jay.
you know what, man? That's fine. That's fine. I told you can probably give me hell about that for the rest of my life. So that's your ticket.
Well,
Jeremy.
I like whenever I told you to go back to your room and I just took your wife to a restaurant during Gen Con. Lance had this look like something bad's going to happen, man. Something real bad. And she just goes, I was like, look, I'll just walk with her, we'll find a restaurant, and you go take all your shit upstairs and we'll see you there. And she goes, yeah, just go do that. And then Lance looks at me like, no, this is not happening.
That's fine. She'd tear you in half. So
I was a complete gentleman.
yeah. That's good. I got a chance to not hang out with you for a while, which was nice. And then I had to go.
Oh, I know. Lance and I are only good friends over the phone or like this. When we're in person, he's always like real sulky and.
Well, I got to have dinner with the Travi, which is always nice. And
you love
Plural, Travis.
you know, I like your boss just because he's so. Only a person
Opposite Travis.
you know, he's like, it's like he sits there and talks about how many games he sells and how much money he makes, but he's just so unhappy, just so unhappy. Yeah, I sold 16.
That's because they keep making Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I wait. No, it's like Travis Worthy. Yeah, I sold 20,000 copies of Coup last month.
more than that.
Whatever. He's like, I sold that. Yeah, everybody's so stupid, but I'm the only smart one. That's pretty much him. I'm like, wow, you're just angry.
He doesn't say he's the only smart one. He does talk like Jimmy Stewart though. He'll say something like, yeah.
like I said, I enjoy him for he's a straight shooter, and a lot of people, well, a lot of people like have that fake smile and the little handshake, and oh, hey, great to see you again, buddy. And, they could care less, because they know they're supposed to. And I get the impression Travis would just flat out just tell you that, like, oh, hey, shit dicker, what are you
No,
doing?
I told at Origins
Still
I
wasting
booked
your time doing videos.
Yeah, exactly.
I booked all these appointments with designers, and I was like, look, you can't. You're too short with people. You're just going to have to be nice. Let me be the lead, and then you can kind of signal to me what you think. So he would see these games that were
Doesn't
just
he one of
terrible.
these,
He didn't
Does he
like.
do, like the middle finger of the forehead kind of as a signal or whatever?
No. So he would do this. Like the person would be talking, and it was like I had programmed a robot to give a shit. Like his face was like this. He was going. and then they would like look away, and then he would look at me, and he would just go. He would like shake his head no, like little shakes, or either he would tap his wrist
How many
like he
games
was
did
tapping a
you check
watch
out?
to
How
get
many
him out of
games
here.
did you? How many games did you like evaluate?
At Origins?
Yeah, no, at Gen Con.
Not. Actually, we saw a decent amount. We signed one game, and we found 2 games that were licensed games that we liked, but mostly, man, it was just garbage at Gen Con. It's not
But
really
I mean,
a
like,
good
how many
con.
did you go through, or was it just like only a few? Was it just too busy to take people to?
No,
He
he had a lot of
was
appointments.
meeting with people all day long.
Most of our appointments were with other publishers that wanted to do licensing. We had some pretty crazy stuff. Hasbro wants 2 of our games, 2 action games.
Wow.
They emailed us today, so I'm pretty surprised.
Ninja
So, yeah,
Camp.
looks like you nailed one of them.
Kadama.
You nailed the other one.
The 2 I would predict.
Well, I think what we figured out with Ninja Camp is we're just the wrong publisher for it. It actually is. The game has mass market appeal, and we're not.
It needs
right.
Kung Fu Panda license.
Yeah,
sure.
you're right.
It's a great game, man. No one's even said hi to Jeremy. Look at this crystal clear quality in which we're seeing him scowl.
I said hello earlier. I actually have a question for him.
Jeremy, what is your favorite thing about voting for Donald Trump this year?
Right.
Hey, I have there's actually a question, a TMG-related question. Somebody asking when Guilds of London will be available in stores. Late September, early October is hopefully when we get the boat. So there you go.
Just have my copy if they want.
How do you feel about releasing that game at Origins? Like, it's been out now for what, 3 months?
Technically it got released at the UK Game Expo first.
Yeah, it's been out for a while, right? And then it took so long to come here. I always wonder about that buzz kind of fading away.
We're actually planning Origins releases. We're doing 4 Origins releases this year.
Right.
Jim, did you just
Travis, you prefer to
scratch your eye with your middle finger, Jim? I could have sworn you scratched your eye with your middle finger. You went like this as Travis was talking.
No.
Because if you didn't, let me do it. Hold on. There you go.
So Travis, I'm curious. Do you prefer to release a game at Origins or Gen Con?
Oh, Gen Con for sure.
Okay.
I think.
Oh,
well,
God,
we never have done Origins. We did have a new release at Origins last year, and it did okay. I mean, the thing is, no one really. It's so close, right? It's so close to Gen Con, and the truth of the matter is, the attendance is just a massive difference.
No, the walls are way open. Like, I spoke with a publisher, like, off camera, and he was like, well, we sold out of everything that was new, and then people still wanted to buy stuff from us. Because they just
We
have
sold out
money to
of
burn.
we sold out of 4 of our 5 new games, and the other one that didn't sell out, we sold all but 2 copies, and we sold out of 3 of them in the first 36 hours.
Yeah, Thursday was a really good day at Gen Con. It was, but the rest of the weekend was a strange pattern.
We were pretty much slamming, man. Our booth was pretty slamming the whole time.
That's good. Congrats.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had a lot. You know, we planned around. We built up a big momentum around trying to have as many releases as we could. So Action Phase had 2, and then Travis had like 4 or 5 games that were new. So
I feel like your spot was really good too, because you were
Yeah.
real close to that corner around that
How
weird
did you get
dark
that
alley
space?
area.
Man, to be Travis, you have to, you must bug Megan incessantly to get that space.
Megan and I have each other's phone numbers, and we're friends. And
I
she's
think
like, what do I need to do to stop calling me is probably what she's doing.
no, Megan has called me before to shoot the shit. I mean, the thing is, she wanted to give us a leg up, and we did everything that she wants out of a vendor, and we've upsized and we've spent more money each year, and we've been kind of, she backed the right horse, and
Right. So you want to know my interface with Megan this year? And look, Megan is totally fine. But here's my one email exchange with her. I sent a letter to her last week, the week before Gen Con, and I said, hey, I need to add XYZ to the pickup list, the badge pickup list.
You had somebody named XYZ that worked for you?
Or whatever, Beth. It was Beth, whatever. And she writes back, okay, let me know earlier next time. I'm like, huh? Like, that's the only email I've sent you this entire year.
Do you want me to?
No, I'm just like, the attitude that came back on me was just so bizarre. I was just
God,
like,
just give her like $1 million. You
Whatever.
have so many millions already. Like, what's the big?
So I want to know what I did to piss Megan off so that she put me next to Tail Kiss Games.
Somebody had to go there.
I know, Jim. I actually know the answer to this.
Tell me. Travis paid her to do it.
You had that piece of shit Carl Simmons working in your booth.
Oh
No,
my
I'm kidding.
God.
Don't hold back. Say what you really feel.
Actually.
Actually,
For us.
just tell Megan she looks like what if Tina Fey was, like an accessible version of Tina Fey. She likes that.
Hey Aldi, 78.75 million.
Oh man.
Scott, did I ever tell you my first meeting with Megan? What happened?
no. I
So
don't
we,
think
one of our the guy that was like the guy that owned only 10% of Action Phase found out, she like tweeted, I'm going to be in town, blah blah blah. And so he managed to arrange a meeting with her. So we went downtown, we met with her while she was in town for a couple days, like talking to the convention center, and she just flatly tells us there's no way in hell you're going to get a booth. She goes, if 28 other people drop out, you might have a chance to get a booth. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, I don't really want to take no for an answer. Like, we really want a booth. What can we do? So she goes, okay, well, so let me ask you a question. Are your guys' games family friendly? And I'm like, of course. And she's like, what about, are you guys going to be showing any new games next year? Like, are any of your new games, like, are they family friendly? And I said, well, we do have this game called Raped by Zombies coming out. And my business partner is just kicking me under the table. He's kicking me so hard under the table that my chair moves backward. And Nick just starts laughing because he's around me all the time, so he's used to me being an idiot. And my other business partner is just shaking his head like, you just blew it. So whatever we shake, she just gets this really serious look on her face. She's like, are you serious? And I'm like, no, we're kidding. And then she's like, okay, that was not cool. And I'm like, oh, no. So I say I'm sorry. We leave, and then about 20 minutes after we leave, I get a message saying we have a booth at Gen Con.
Okay.
Only me, right?
Only you, Travis. I mean, seriously.
Raped by zombies.
Hey, Jeremy, did you know there's a game called Clonk coming out, like, next week or something?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Clonk and Clank?
Clonk is coming out. It's on a release list. I just saw it.
What? Oh, God.
No, I'm going to bring Clank on the cruise, man. I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, it looks
Stuff
really
review.
cool, Jamie. I saw that, and that looks neat.
So I'm gonna.
There is Clonk.
Yeah,
That's a
Clonk.
non-board game.
It's
Have
from
you guys,
Hook.
have you guys tried No Man's Sky yet?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I've really fallen for that.
I've been playing that fairly constantly. It's buggy as hell right now. I mean, they're trying to fix all the problems as people have reported them. You can totally, if you don't want to play by the rules and just max yourself out right away, you can do it. I wouldn't suggest doing it because you're just going to ruin the game experience for you. I know some friends of mine that have they have over 500 million. Whatever it is, like credits or whatever it is they have. They have the largest possible ship, the largest possible gun. So and they haven't even left their first area.
Wait, how did they do that?
Well, the big
There's some cheating glitches.
well, there's the big cheat glitch is you go to a planet and there's a few resources that are all worth a lot. So there's a half a dozen resources that are worth about between 300 and 350 units a piece, and you can have stacks of 250 of them on your person. So
Yeah.
you get basically you get any amount of them. The more the better, because it'll take you less time. But the thing is that as long as you have some, you go to a spot that you find a spot on a planet, like a trade outpost or something where you can sell stuff. You go there, and then you have the stuff on you, and you make sure that you just have that stack. It doesn't matter if you have 250 or if you have 5. You just have that stack. Then you stand and you hit your jump jets to go straight up, and you just and make sure you save it before you jump straight up, and you just keep, and then until your jump jet, and then you fall and you keep taking damage over and over again until finally you kill yourself by doing that. If you just kill yourself however you want to do it, you can aggravate an alien to shoot you, you can get something else. So you die.
You respawn with that.
You
stack
respawn. The thing is, you respawn, and normally you're supposed to go to your little grave site, and you click on the grave site and you get your stuff back. Before you go to the grave site, you click on reload. Reload not your most recent save, but the save prior to your most recent save, because the game puts another save after you die. You go to the earlier save, you still have all of your stuff, but your grave site's still there. So you go there and you collect your grave site, and then you collect your stuff again. So you do that, if you have 250 of whatever rare mineral you have, you just do that until you basically until basically you yourself are totally full, and then your grave site is totally full. You go into the trade post, sell all this stuff, you go back out, you collect everything off your grave site, and then you just do it again. And you do it, and then at that point, since your entire inventory is filled with this super big mineral, you can just repeat it over and over and over again, and in about 10 minutes you'll have all the money you'll ever need, and you're done.
Excitingly fun.
Yeah, well,
That sounds boring.
yeah, I mean,
Awfully boring.
I put about 10 hours in the game, but I think I'm done with it. It's not enough fun for me.
it's
Just not. I mean, I saw a lot of the stuff, and I know there's probably more I didn't see, but I'm kind of done.
I love.
I'm going to come back to it.
Go
Hey, side note, guys, have you guys looked at this God's War by Sandy Peterson?
we were talking about a little bit earlier. Yeah.
$450.
Yeah. Big minis,
Holy
right?
crap! Did any of you guys back this?
Yeah, I backed it.
Yeah, I'll back it probably. Sandy will probably give me a deal like he has in the past, but well, just to be honest, I mean, he's a friend, so I'm not gonna apologize for being friends with him.
Are his games anything more than just dice chucking?
No, they're pretty much dice chucking.
Okay.
But they're amazingly good dice chuckers. Yeah, but anyway, so, and then the other really weird thing about No Man's Sky, and I'm like, this is one of those things where how do you figure this out? So a buddy of mine, he said that because basically how good your ship is based upon how many open spots you have. And so everything has a maximum of 48 slots that you can either fill with stuff or put upgrades. Your own personal exosuit can have 48 spots, your gun can have 48 spots, and your ship can have 48 spots. And your ship is the big one because the ship can carry the most. And so they they have the thing where it's like it's really weird. You have to be on a planet. There's like this race called the Gek, which is basically like this frog race. You have to be on a Gek planet. You have to go to a transmission location. So the transmission location goes in, and then there's like this little puzzle. The transmission location has you figure out this mathematical puzzle, and then it gives you the coordinates to it's a distress signal, and it gives you the coordinates to a downed ship somewhere on the planet. So for whatever reason, the game is glitched out that on a Gek planet, if you go to a transmission place, if you figure out that puzzle, it'll tell you where the ship is, but it doesn't deactivate the computer. So you can just keep on telling the computer and asking it the same question over and over again. And so then you will... so you basically can populate the entire planet with downed ships. And then what happens then is that you have... Oh, somebody's... That's awesome. So... After you have all those down ships or whatever, you just go to each one, and the ship is always one better than the ship that you have. Sometimes it's the same, but it's usually one better. And so you go there, and then you collect that ship, and you exchange it for your old one, and then you go to the next one and exchange it, and you go to the next one and exchange it, and so forth. And after a few hours, you basically have the biggest ship you possibly can have.
All right, Lance, we got to change the subject. You're killing us here.
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about, it's weird how people find out those glitches. I just don't know how people figure that stuff out.
But Jim, you should say what you feel about the game because you brought it up.
I actually like the, I'm a big fan of the old Alone in the Dark games, and the sense of aloneness and isolation that this game gives you, I think, is interesting if you play it for what it is.
But Jim, didn't you also say you were into autoerotic asphyxiation?
Why?
Yeah, but that was before I choked. Ha ha. So meanwhile, back on Earth, there's always this element in a computer game where the question is whether you can immerse yourself into the storyline without other people around to help you. And it's not a grind like Warcraft or DDO, but it is an interesting resource management problem when you have very few inventory slots, and I do enjoy that. And I like the idea of the expansiveness of it and the procedure generation. And most of all, I like the conversations it lets me have with my kid.
I think having kids around playing this game would be good.
My wife is just in the background shaking her head like we are the saddest bastards alive.
He's like, you chose this industry on purpose?
The thing about the game, Jim, for me is that I can see I'm a little bit worried because I remember like the first time that I played Skyrim and you would head off in a direction and you'd find a bandit camp or whatever just out in the middle of nowhere, and it would be kind of like exciting that you found this little bandit camp. And it was just something neat. And you go in there, and they had a little tiny quest or a little tiny story, and you thought that was interesting. And then you travel a little further, and you found a cave, and it had like creatures in it or whatever, and you found that. But after like the 6th bandit camp and like the 12th cave, you realize that they weren't like like you found out that like the one thing about it is that they aren't different. It was just a play on the theme, but it was very it just started repeating itself, and that's my one worry about No Man's Sky. The whole idea of the procedural universe is really neat, but at some point, like being able to run into your friends, I think is important. And being able to.
I hit that after like 8 hours.
Yeah. So my favorite computer game of all time was Out of This World, which
Great
some
game.
of you may or may not remember.
I remember.
Out of This World is an amazing game.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about that game was, and I don't know if it was everyone, but when I got the copy, there were no rules. There was no instruction sheet at all. You had to learn everything and figure it all out by yourself.
Yep.
And I get that same sense with No Man's Sky. I don't know what I'm doing. There's a hint that pops up now and again, but I got to figure everything out myself. And I find that really refreshing. So many games, you see an optimal resource allocation immediately or an optimal strategy to go through, and this doesn't have one, and I like that.
The thing about Out of This World, I remember the thing I loved about it was that it was such a weird, like, how very austere the world was, and like how you said perfectly, it just threw you into the game, and you basically learned by getting killed over and over again. And it was an action game that was a true action puzzle game.
So when you figured something out, there was an enormous sense of accomplishment and satisfaction.
Yeah, I just remember the very beginning when like you were like, oh, what are those little snake things? Oh,
Yeah.
wait, I just got bitten and I'm dead. I lasted 15 seconds. Okay.
And the first time you found out if you hold the space bar down, you build up a bigger charge on that gun.
Yeah, and you could create the shields with it, and
Yes.
oh yeah, just so many good things. And the ending was so perfect. Like the total vague ending where basically your friend picks you up, puts you on the back of the flying dragon thing, and then you leave, and you have no idea if you're alive or dead. You're just yeah.
Dude, spoilers.
I know. Lance is master at that.
For a game that was released
I
in
watched
91.
I watched the episode last week. I think I had to mute it like 3 times.
For which one?
I don't remember. I don't even remember. Just like spoiler central.
Well, for a game that came out in 1991, I have to worry
No,
about.
we don't have to.
Oh, okay.
But you definitely like said, "Oh, I'm not going to tell any spoilers," and then like 3 minutes later, here comes the spoilers, and I had to.
Yeah, more like.
I don't know what you were. I forget what you were talking about, but it was something like
Probably
something that I wanted to experience.
The only time I've ever heard Lance talk longer than that was every other time he talked.
Oh, that's.
All right.
Where do you come up with this fresh material?
Listen here, Grizzly Adams. No one wants to hear your dissertation on the history of your favorite video games. Can we talk about Gen Con or some shit again? I don't like
had
how
such a good
Forrest and
time at Gen
Anthony
Con
are
this
leaning.
year.
Look at Forrest, lean a little more in the direction you're leaning, and you and Anthony can make one face.
Merge into a face.
All right, guys. I got an early morning tomorrow. I'm going to say goodnight. Have a great chat. Ciao,
Yeah,
baby.
right.
Jim.
So go hang out with
Yeah,
Carl,
Jim.
I know it.
I missed the Gen Con love last week, so
Well, I didn't stay on for the Gen Con though. I was still tired from Gen Con last week. So
I'm
I
still
passed
tired
out.
from Gen Con. I cannot recover.
I had a lot better time at Gen Con this year than I did last year.
Scott,
Anthony-
what the hell are you wearing right now? Jesus Christ.
They're glare glasses.
That's his
What, I
mom.
can't wear
Looks like
glasses?
looks like a bearing off of a Jeep Cherokee.
Those are his Bono glasses.
Those are my Bono glasses.
Anthony, what games did you bring with you to
Sunday,
India?
buddy, Sunday.
Nothing.
Really? I thought you said you were going to bring a
Yeah.
couple of like small games or whatever.
So
Did you burn that
when I get home,
when you get home? Oh, you're. Oh,
it was raining pretty much the whole week when I got back from Gen Con. So
Hey, Anthony, I'm solidarity for you. I'm wearing my shirt.
Oh,
I
shit!
saw it.
Anthony, hold on. I was going to ask you about this, honestly.
I got my stuff. You can open it up. Like I told you.
No, okay. First of all, solidarity. All right, still in drink. And
Ribston.
did
Hey,
you
Lance, do you have electricity in your house?
did you pick up all of your stuff, Anthony?
Yes, I
Have
picked up
you-
all my stuff and all Marco's stuff.
Have you?
And yes, I've opened it.
You have opened it. Have you put it all together, or have you done anything with it?
No.
Did you burn it?
I don't think I'm ever gonna play Brimstone.
I honestly think it's one of those things where I'm going to wait until I get it all. It's all going to be in shrink, and I'm just going to sell it to somebody.
They'll already have it. Nobody will need it then, Lance.
Maybe they will. I don't know.
It can't be that rare because that's all Flying Frog has been doing for the past 3 years at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Didn't
They'll
they
never
just put
stop
out like
making
another
that.
10 or 15 expansions?
They might
This-
come up with a new game. You never know.
Yeah, it's called Shadows of Brimstone 2.
No, they've got a sub genre of it. Property. They were talking about a game.
I went by their booth a couple times, and interviewed by people, and everyone was asking them questions about why it's taken so long for this to come out in their interviews.
That's awesome. I always walk by that, and I always see it's
It
like
must suck though, right?
It's the largest booth. It's like the largest area that of anybody. Like it isn't like of anybody, but it's this giant area, and it's like, and they somehow they still have like 8 people playing that cliffhanger game like all the time. Like they're always demoing that game, and I'm like, these people are going to be sitting there playing it for like the next easily like the next.
The Fortune and Glory.
Yeah, Fortune and Glory. I mean, if you're demoing that, you're in your 8-player game.
You can't demo that game.
You're there for like 2-3 hours. It's like
easily.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How come no one's asked me any questions about my Buffy the Vampire Slayer Legendary game?
Oh yeah, congrats, man. That was awesome.
Nobody cares.
Are you gonna get the comic? Is it the comic book art, or are they contracting new artwork?
Oh my god, I friggin' hope they get actual still.
Have you seen the Firefly artwork yet?
Holy shit! It looks like a 7-year-old drew with their feet.
I don't know what happened there. It's weird.
Oh, so I got a question for you about that, Travis. Now, is that like the Big Trouble Little China one, or which legendary version is that? Since there's 2 legendary versions.
It will not be an Encounters.
Okay.
It will be.
What is the difference?
What's that?
What is the difference between Encounters and Legendary?
Encounters is usually cooperative.
Is Legendary not cooperative?
It's semi-cooperative.
It's like,
there is a winner. There is a winner.
Cooperative. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems to me, and it's cool that you got the game, and I'm happy that you got the game. But is it like? Well, no. It's nothing. It's just like, when was the last time like Buffy was like
relevant?
Big? Yeah, big and relevant. It seems like it's something that like 5 years ago.
My wife just gave you the shittiest look in the world. Favorite show.
Asked that about Big Trouble in Little China, right, Keith?
Yeah.
It's not relevant anymore.
Or ask,
too.
You know, I mean, I know Buffy was older than Firefly, but Buffy was on longer than Firefly, and it's from the same guy.
Well, Firefly was 1 season. I mean, that doesn't take that, and they didn't even
what
play
I just
like
said. So I don't know why you're commenting I said something differently.
I don't know. I mean, I remember the Buffy movie. That was okay.
Anybody want to yell at me again? Never watched Buffy.
Me neither.
Yeah, I never watched that show at all. I mean, it was like, I got a buddy who's all just.
I watched The Dollhouse, and then that's about it. That's all of his stuff I've seen.
No, I mean, you know what? I like Legendary. It's one of those things that's kind of like a guilty pleasure.
Oh, I'll play it, for sure.
Salinas sold me his Legendary like 4 years ago for $65, and I've probably played it 1,000 times. I probably realistically played it 300 or 400 times. And it's one of those things that the reason it gets played like that so many times is when we bust it out, we'll play it for like 5 hours straight. Because it's such a pain in the ass to put it away, and it's such a pain in the ass to set it up. It's like going camping or something. It's like, all right, let's play Legendary. I'll go collect the firewood. You get all the wound cards. It takes so long. So it was actually really interesting. It was very easy to design the content, and I think they were impressed with what we did, and I think we've added something unique to the game, and yeah, I don't know. It's a cool notch on the belt. I like Brenner. I like Upper Deck, even though they're kind of weird. But Brenner is definitely, he makes me laugh every time I talk to him.
He's the coolest cat in town, man.
When's the
Jeremy, where did you get that poster?
What poster?
The one behind you.
What the fuck is this red? What's going on with that green? Keith, stop.
Yeah.
I made it.
Oh, you made that? Nice.
Yeah.
That was cool.
All the posters on my set I make. I made a really cool one for
a market for that, like weird,
for
like.
Wanted.
I know. Yeah. Whatever happened to that?
I need to make it and put it on the set. I just need $500 from you.
Yeah, right. $500 for a game that came out three years ago.
Cash in your Queen's Gambit money.
No way, dude. So what's up with you, Salinas? I spoke to you briefly earlier. We were talking about Vast, and then we talked about Vast again.
How did that end? Did you like it? Did you play all the way through it?
I gotta play it more.
But see, that's the thing. You can't say, "Hey, it didn't go well. It was confusing. Give it another try." It's like, "Hey, what did you think about that shiatsu massage? It hurt really bad, and I shit myself." Oh, you just do it like 10 more times. You'll get used to it.
What's
I
wrong with
don't
that,
know
though?
that's the logic.
I think most games you cannot possibly cover them in one game.
The game is not complex. The game is, every single roll is very simple. You don't have a ton of decision points. The goblins feel like they have a lot of decision points. I'm the dragon. I look at my hand. I go, what icons can I play? How do I move cubes off my thing? There's like 4 or 5 ways to do it. The knight feels like it's the most boring role. Every time, I can't say every time because I've only played it twice. Both times I've played it, the knight was in the situation where it was like, cool, I unlocked all my cubes. I got a bunch of weapons. I can't kill the dragon unless it's awake, really, because I've already used my bombs. I guess I'll just kind of putter around this dungeon waiting for him to wake up. Oh, look, he's on the other side of the map and he's escaping. So, I don't know. The goblins almost won both games that we played, but it also felt like no one knew what the hell was going on with the goblins. And the person who played the cave never spoke out loud, so we never knew if they were even doing the correct thing.
Yeah, the goblins are the most challenging by far.
Way
I
bright,
don't quite understand them either.
So
I don't understand the timing behind them.
Is the thief only in
I don't
5-player game?
Yeah. No one can tell me the answer. What does ambush? What actually happens in an ambush? Because in the rules, it's very confusing.
I haven't played it for a month. I don't remember.
Wham, wham.
Yeah, I don't know. All these opinion is you have to play the game like you have to basically get a bachelor's degree in the game in order to enjoy it.
Believe me, there's been a lot of bad games I've played multiple times looking for the good part of it, and sometimes you just don't get it.
No, I think there's something good in this game, but I think it's the conceit of the idea. I think that's the real. It's like that. I bought Vast for the same reason I bought Grimslingers. I was like, what the hell is this? This looks really odd. And as a designer and a publisher, I was interested to see what it was. And I think
there was a lot of that at Gen Con, actually.
What's that?
I think there was a lot of that at Gen Con. A lot more of that. Like,
well, there's like Captain Sonar was another.
Like, how come no one heard of Clank?
Captain
Sonar, yeah. Like, Clank was not on anybody's list at all.
I saw it and I was just like, this looks like it said deck builder really
It's on our
big.
list.
Was it on your preview list? Like, you were like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, it was number 6 on my Gen Con list.
Okay.
But yeah, there was no information out. I had to ask Scott and Sarah at Renegade to get me even a rulebook for it. Because there's literally nothing right before a couple days prior.
Well, they're putting all their steam behind Covert and Lotus, right?
Oh, Covert, yeah.
Hmm.
And Lotus. Oh,
Yeah.
That was the first game Action Phase Games rejected. Outside design.
But Clank?
No.
Clonk.
Lotus.
I
reject
was not interested in Lotus at all. It was just kind of like
not really a game. Oh yeah, there it is.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's a cool poster.
So anyway, I mean, what has everybody been doing since Gen Con? Are you feeling any Gen Con of like sadness, like jonesing up for, I don't know, some crummy convention in November probably?
Dude, we're getting ready for Essen.
Yeah,
and I got a cruise next weekend. And Essen the couple weeks after that. It's craziness.
That's amazing.
It's been a crazy year. I don't know how I'm doing it.
Are you guys completely sold out at BGG Con?
Yeah, it's sold out.
Yeah.
What's the outside the hotel venues looking like? I mean, as far as like if people finding a place to stay.
It's rough. It's all the surrounding hotels now. I think they're opening a couple more rooms at the Hyatt Place, which is like right.
You gotta leave that place, man.
It's easier said than done. I've already tried.
Bro, people do it all the time. Look at Donald Trump, man. You gotta follow in the freaking footsteps of the president.
Hey,
So I'm giving you guys a scoop.
make BGG great again.
We went and visited another site last week when I got back from Gen Con.
Oh, really, fool?
Yeah, and if it works out, it would be amazing. However, I don't think it's going to work out for various and sundry reasons. It's like
What's the other side?
There's only one other hotel in town that's big enough.
Would that
It's
be
the Gaylord?
the big hotel?
It's a big hotel. It could handle 5,000 people easily, if not more.
But the thing about that, though, is that it's perfect because of the fact that it's.
Just because I want to move to a bigger hotel doesn't mean I can. Like, people think that that's just, you just should go to a bigger hotel.
Listen, man.
Well, guess what? All the hotels
Tom
don't
Vassal's
actually
got
work that
plans,
way. What's that?
Tom Vassal's got plans. He's gonna move in on your territory.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's doubling the size of his con next year.
Bigger. I don't want to be the biggest con in the world. I want to be the best con in the world. That's different.
And if you grow bigger and
If I-
bigger,
if I
Right now,
wanted to
you just have the most expensive and exclusive con.
Bullshit, dude. I don't know how much you spend in Origins or Gen Con, but I spent well over 5 figures there. So, I'm sure most people do. You will
I
not
live
spend that
in
at-
Indy. Gen Con
Well, you
is
live there,
admittedly
yes.
cheaper.
You didn't have your $1,500 hotel bills per
Hey,
person.
Keith, I got a question. You're in Colorado, right?
me? No, I'm in Indiana.
Oh shit. Never mind.
Nice. That was good.
I'm like
No, I'm going
2.5 hours from you.
Colorado. So
I thought he was going to ask where babies come from.
Biggest is not the best.
Yeah, that's what your wife keeps telling you. See what I did there?
I know, I'm reading the comments. I'm ignoring you. I don't know what you're saying. But people say, just move to a bigger hotel. Well, it's not that easy, guys.
No,
Go-
it's just
And I don't want you to get that much bigger.
Go tell them you want $100 and something room rate
What was it?
and 5,000 people and see what they say. Go for it.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what?
the problem is that you can't, like, staying outside of the airport is a giant pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
I agree. Believe me, we're looking at other hotels. I mean, I don't know what to tell anybody else.
It's
We
great
are
you can
going to
fly
move
in.
it if it can be moved, but right now it cannot be.
No,
So-
I mean, listen, obviously it's easier said than done. I'm not trying to give you I mean,
No, I understand the problem.
BGG is interesting from a exhibitor's perspective. I don't think, unless you have a game that was hot at Essen, that was hard, and even then, like, the BGG crowd are the people that if they want something, they get it. They're the alpha gamers, right? So you don't do a tremendous amount of sales unless you have something, you kind of sat
Shoot,
on
got a
something.
special.
Yeah.
Hey,
So and
Forrest.
There's not enough of the regular gamer, I guess is the word.
they're the elite, man. This is the alpha gamer convention. If there is one, it's this one.
Forrest, just totally unrelated. Did you get a copy of Guilds of London at Gen Con?
I did not.
All right, I just want to make. I'm just seeing. I'll make sure we send you one. I didn't know if you had snagged one there or not. So, thanks,
But
buddy.
no, I didn't ask. I just shot my interviews.
Thank you. Okay, go on and talk. You know what?
Has
You know what?
anybody played Last Friday yet?
I
I
have
would
not played it yet.
hold on. I would like to say this. Your thing about the fact that, like, you can't find a different hotel or whatever, as you're saying, right? To quote, like, the old Simpsons, it's like, you say there are no easy answers. I say you're not trying hard enough. So
Okay.
make me
I
great again.
I don't envy Scott's position at all. I mean, you have all
I
these
know,
people.
he's worth $79 million.
So 78.
I'll tell you what, that joke never gets old.
Hilarious.
Yeah. You go to the well with your crap all the time. So just whatever.
Listen, when you get electricity in your house, don't talk shit about me. And then
Believe
you
me,
have one
if
of
I
your
can
kids
make
going
if
on
I can make the
a
Gaylord
handle
work,
and
we
out of
saw
power
the site.
web-
We went there last week, and in my dreams I could have BGG Con there. It would be night and day, 100% better. The space is amazing. It's a resort, and I can envision it there, but there's realities. Like
You don't go to Dice Tower? Did you go to Dice Tower this last year? No, right?
No, I didn't go to Dice Tower.
It's in a big resort. There wasn't a lot of, there was less people than they told me that their attendance was something, and I was like, this doesn't seem like that number is correct, but I'm pretty sure it's sold out, and but the resort was nice. And it was nice that the convention center was there,
it's
and it
Orlando.
was nice.
Yeah, they have a good location for sure. We got we got 3 hotels total that could handle BGGCon in the city, in the surrounding cities, and 2 of them are in Dallas. 1 is in Grapevine, and I would prefer not to be in Dallas because Dallas sucks. But Grapevine is very nice. The city supports us, right? Dallas doesn't give a shit, so I would like to stay there.
Dallas is the honey badger.
Yep. The question is,
Does it
they don't
have
give a
to be in
shit.
Texas?
Yeah, it has to be in Texas. It has to be in the city.
You just gotta be able to get the library there.
There is something really, really sweet about the fact that it is...
The fact that I can drive to it is a big thing.
Well, no, the fact you get off the plane and you're right there. It's not like some ridiculous, process or anything like that. I mean, if you're lucky enough to get off on the right side of the airport, you can just walk over. I mean,
but I don't like that when I'm in that hotel, I feel like a portal from the TV show Sliders is inside of my wallet, just sucking all my money into a vortex.
They're all like that, though. They're all like
You're like, hi.
How could that not be in Orlando? Orlando is like the money-suck city of the world.
But the point is, we got in the car and we left, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have to validate our parking. We didn't have to...
Yeah.
It's a pain.
I understand those frustrations. I agree. I fall into it too. I leave the hotel way more than most people because we're always running out and doing stuff.
And every time someone wants to leave, they want to go to that stupid Hard 8 or whatever it's called.
That's good.
Barbecue.
No, it's good, but it's like every time. It's like I feel like Groundhog Day. It's like the first time they've ever done it. It's like cool. I can't wait to stand outside in the humidity and or no, it's November, so
it's cold. There was an ice storm last time.
Yeah, it was cold outside.
Okay, you know, Travis.
It's not the best place.
Hold on, Travis. I'm just gonna be. You think I'm just ripping on you for saying this, but just honestly, it's like, Scott, would you please change it for Travis? I mean, he really just can't stand it. Could you please just change the entire convention process so Travis will be happy?
I fell in love with the place we looked at. If I can make it work, we will. If we can't make it work, we don't. And
Scott, I don't know if you know this, but Lance is really good friends with Sandy Peterson, so maybe he can pull some strings for you.
Yeah.
Get me on that resin goodness.
And also, if you
Sandy lives a couple miles away from me.
A gallon of Sandy Peterson's semen right out of Lance's ass if you need to artificially inseminate.
Dude, why be vulgar? Why?
Why be terrible, man?
Because you made me mad, Lance. I tell you this every time I come on this stupid show.
You guys need to bring back that show. What was it called?
Alexanomicon?
Yeah.
I'm just going to start it up with Jeremy Salinas instead.
That's right. That would be interesting. You could go to a set. You guys hang out on the set. You get your neighbors, right? Aren't you in the same city?
Jeremy lives like less than 3 miles away from me.
Mm-hmm.
What? Man.
I have barbed wire around my house, though.
Just to keep him out.
I helped Jeremy move into his house. Well, he paid me to help him move into his house.
You guys both on the north side?
Yeah. Northeast side for life.
Nice.
Oh, man.
I'm on the deep south side.
Anyway, we're looking. Just FYI.
Well, I mean,
we also have other ideas, too. Like, I want to make it better for vendors. That's a big commitment to come to BGGCon. There's some plans that if they work, that I think it could be pretty cool. I'm not going to spoil that now.
I am personally, I think the place is nice. I mean, and it's big enough. I mean, obviously, there's a ton of people there, but I never felt like it was incredibly crowded. I do think it's just kind of weird how, I mean, both weird and cool, I should say, how you had the entire place So any floor, like if you wanted to go game and you wanted to do it in a place where it was like where nobody would bother you. You just picked a floor and went into a conference room, and there would be nobody in there. Of course, then you also felt like you were missing out because there was like nobody around. So
you'd be isolated a little.
So the couple times when they're like, oh yeah, we're on like the 7th floor on the 3rd conference room. It's like, oh okay, and then I went and I was like, I played a game and I was like, we gotta go. We gotta go. Like,
yeah.
I feel
you sit
like
there all day and miss out.
And you never see anybody. You're a
different type of con attender, right? Like it's different types of people for sure.
Yeah,
some people don't have any problem sitting in a room off in the middle of nowhere and never seeing anybody.
I really like the hotel. I really. I'm trying to speak from the outside perspective. I really do like the hotel. Like I have a lot of fun at that convention. It's nice that once you're there, you're there. But it's like there's always comes a point where people like we run out of supplies. It's like we're on like a wagon train going out west, and they're like, we need to leave the hotel and get ginger ale and bourbon and popcorn. And I want to eat at Hard 8 while we're on the way there.
I do that all the time. I try to schedule okay, we got to go out and do this, and that's my one time out for the day or whatever. Now, the other place would be way better for that kind of stuff.
So what's the barrier to entry there? It's cost?
It's a couple things. Well, for one, they don't have the time. It's booked.
Well, what does Sandy Peterson think about it?
I don't know. We should There's a couple things. There's a couple reasons.
Oh, Lance. We need to either make love or get in a fist fight. It's the only way we're gonna get back to where we
just need to get your show back on.
Why not both?
Who could we have on as a guest?
There's so many people.
Whenever I think of that show that we did, there was my favorite question I ever asked is I asked Bebo, I go, what is the best ghost? And Lance just goes, what? It's so funny.
Was Bebo on your show?
What now?
Was that the episode with the ghost stories?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bebo literally had her kid bring her a pillow and just put it on the computer and listen to Lance talk for like 45 minutes. She was like, I'm so tired, but you guys won't stop.
She was supposedly a Gen Con. I never saw her though.
I saw her.
It's not her fault though, because if she's so skinny that if she actually turns, she's 2-dimensional. So if she just turns, it's like she vanishes.
I felt with our room this year, I saw very few people outside of my circle of geek people. Like I saw you once, Lance. I think total.
I popped by the booth a few times, but no, we didn't really like hang out or anything like that.
No, I had no time. Time was just sapped up. Yeah, having that extra room was definitely a time suck. Which was cool. No, but none of the people I invited actually came by except for Keith.
The thing about it was, the thing about that is like Gen Con next year at Gen Con. I mean, like I'll obviously be working and stuff, but I'm definitely gonna make sure I have one day with like no meetings and nothing going on, so I can.
Even then, it's hard. Right? Like, what do you do?
I like just wandering the floor, literally just wandering.
Weren't you doing that all the time anyway?
Well, no, I always had someplace I was heading, so it was like, so I get like maybe an hour to like just sit there, and like in the morning, if there was a game that I heard of that I wanted to pick up, that was when I like, get in early and then just go over there and give him the cash, try to convince the guy to let me buy it before.
Cut all that out of your life next time. Like cut every desire to buy games out of your life, and you'll have so much extra time. Like I've done that.
But that's why I go. I mean, I love checking out the new games.
It's not to go that reason.
It's not the buying.
Oh, so let me change the reason why I like to go to make you happy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll work on that.
I'm with you, Lance. That's why I go to, man. I like to walk through that floor.
Well, I wish I had the time to do that. I wish.
Scott, it's not the buying games that takes up all Lance's times. It's the awkwardly standing around until the publisher gives him a free copy of the game that eats up all his time.
I got almost no free copies. I paid for about 90% of my stuff this time. I didn't even ask. I just was like, here's the money, thanks. Bye.
Oh, God. I had one mutual, I guess we could call him a friend of the shows that loomed around our booth multiple times, and I just said, can I help you, man? Is there something you need? Oh, no, it's cool. It's just waiting. I'm like, oh, waiting on what? And they were waiting on was for me to give them free things, which I did not do.
That's amazing. Yeah. I'm curious. Like, what is the etiquette? Like, as a publisher, like I try not to ask for free shit. Like, I'm there to interview, but I bring it up. Like, yeah, I do review copies. But like, are there people that are just fucking like, what is the average thing people do?
If you or Lance or Joel or Tom or any of the people that we like walked up to the booth and said, do you have anything new that you'd like me to review? I would say, yeah, and I would give you something, and I wouldn't think twice about it. Or if you want to do the less direct, you could say, what's new do you guys have? And then wait and see if the publisher thinks to give you something. But I don't think there's anything wrong. You can always, anyone that knows me, Salinas, you guys can always walk up and say, like Jeremy, you've said that to me, right? You're like, what do you guys have coming out that's new, that you might want coverage for? I honestly appreciate directness more than the weird, like, hey, I sure wish man, that donut looks good. What's that donut? what kind of donut is that? Where'd you get a donut like that cost? It's like, just ask for a fucking donut, man. Like, I would much prefer someone be direct than pussyfoot around and waste a bunch of our collective time.
As a reviewer, though, you have to come with your credentials.
Yeah.
There's plenty
of
reviewers.
You have to have something to show, like, I have a YouTube channel with like 20,000 subscribers, or I have a blog with this many views, or whatever.
I gave Ryan LaFlamme from Cardboard Republic, I gave him a bunch of the new stuff. I gave Dale Yu from Opinionated Gamer some things. And I think a good reviewer is going to know, he's not just going to take every free game he can get. They are going to take the kind of game they know they're going to want to play and review, right? Like, so if I say, oh, hey, this is a shitty deck builder that there's nothing new going on, you shouldn't go, cool, I'll take that. Like, you should be selective about what you want, right? Like, Jeremy actually met up with us. When did you meet up with us, Jeremy? It was like last week. Jeremy met up with us, him and David Waybright met up with us and played through a bunch of our titles for next year and kind of said, I'd like to cover this one's cool, that one's cool. That's probably not for us. And honestly, I prefer that as opposed to how much free shit can I get from you.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Jeremy?
I was going to say, what's your response to people that trash your games? Are you going to be inclined to give them stuff in the future? Or?
I think there's there's really no such thing as bad publicity in the world of games, because if someone trashes a game, inevitably there'll be someone that likes it that steps up and starts
fight back. Yeah, I think even negative reviews have good effect.
I think the worst review we ever got was from Joel, and I send Joel a copy of everything we made. I mean, Joel put us on a blacklist and said we were one of the five. Said Heroes 1 was one of the 5 worst games of that year.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Good night, sweetie. So,
but still, at least you're on the list.
It sucked at the time.
It's bad press, whatever.
Well, I couldn't imagine a world where we would survive. That was the first game we did, and I thought that was like the kiss of death or something for us. But I don't know. I mean, I like what Jeremy does, what Lance does, what Forrest does, what Richard Ham does. Any of those people, Tim Norris, I'll just send Tim Norris games. He actually hasn't even reviewed like our 4 or 5 of our last few games, but I like Tim a lot as a guy, and he's done me a few solids, and a $20 game doesn't cost me $20, so $20 retail game, so it's really not a big deal to throw something in an envelope and send it to someone. If Aldi didn't back everything, I would give him something.
Now, you gave us a couple games for the game night.
Yeah, we have some direct-to-market stuff coming out. Actually, we need to schedule a conference call so we can talk about being a little more involved with you guys. We did that with Tom the other day. We're going to actually participate in the world of marketing moving forward. Travis is going to update his website so it has.
How people are. You know how these reviewers who do Kickstarters get all these promos? So they just work directly with the publisher and say, "Hey, we want to do X promos."
Yeah.
Is that just relation forming for the most part?
Yeah.
It takes time.
I have an open. If Lance ever decided he'd want to do one of those things, I would do it. Actually, Forrest, I need to mail you promos, don't I?
Oh yeah, I was gonna email about that. Yeah.
I will never do a Kickstarter.
No, I know that, but I'm saying if Lance wanted something promotional, if Scott, I actually said I don't know if Scott remembers this, I said a long time ago, if you want something specific for the store, I'll make something specific.
I'm just waiting for my heart card.
It's coming out this year.
Sweet.
2017, I mean.
I am going to use that as my business card.
What's the heart card?
So, Jeremy, yeah, if you ever need anything, if you want, we actually talked to Tom, and, that's something like that's very easy. The cost to do something like that, to make a card, an exclusive card. The thing is publishers usually want to make promos for games that they want people to know about that they might not know about instead of games that are already popular, and so that often doesn't help guys like you that much. But, for example, like if you said, hey, can you make me a Resistance promo? That's actually really hard to do because Resistance is already kind of pushing its limit for content. So without having to make some ridiculous broken or...
It would be like alternate artwork, potentially. Maybe.
Exactly. And honestly, Tom actually prefers that because it's content that'll work. It's something that they already have that they enjoy, and they have a pimped out version of it, right? So...
Yeah. We found that approaching the publisher with the idea is better than waiting for the idea to come. That makes sense.
Yeah, if you ever want anything, Jeremy, let us know. I'd be glad to arrange it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing yet. I'm just throwing things in my...
It's like if there's games you like from Gen Con and you want to call them before the second printing. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the methodology we do.
I mean, what ends up happening with us is we always end up having like space on a sheet, or either we'll be doing promos anyway. So like we'll just say, fuck it, throw.
Yeah, it's pennies for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just pay them, a couple $100 to separate those, and then we throw it on the container with everything else, and then I just mail it to someone. So it ends up costing us very little. Now, if there's artwork and stuff, it can cost a little bit more, but I mean, it's really, there's no excuse for guys for publishers that are profitable to not be supporting guys like what you guys are doing. Like Scott, Jeremy, Forrest, Lance, there's zero reason. Well, not Lance, because Lance screwed me over with Grand Con, so fuck Lance. So, but everyone else, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you'll be surprised, Jeremy. Just, pick what you like and approach the publishers and see what they say.
Yeah, and Forrest, you were wondering what you should say. Like, if I'm actually like trying to like get a deal or anything, if I want a free copy, my one thing I say is I've been doing reviews for a decade. Quote the stats. If you can give me a copy, great. If I have to pay for it, I'll pay for it. And I
was just curious what kind of awkwardness you guys saw, because I saw quite a good deal of like people that were really awkward about it, and I was just hoping for humorous stories, honestly.
Well, sometimes I will just give a person a game to go away, and I'll just give them like the worst game.
I think the big thing is that people, they don't want to be rejected. I mean, you feel like your soul gets crushed a little bit when they get rejected. So they're very. They just don't get to the point in a lot of cases. I don't know. Why am I getting an echo now?
I don't know. I hear it too.
Yeah.
Because you like the sound of your own voice?
Oh.
When is
I think-
Grand Con? That's in Michigan, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Grand Rapids.
It's a good
Is
convention.
that fun?
It's a good small convention.
It's a good convention worth going to. It's definitely one of my favorites. I still think my favorites are, Geekway and BGG. Gen Con I do not enjoy. Gen Con is the toughest week of the year for me. It is brutal. I don't know if for Jeremy, if living here and going there is so weird because everyone else is like, oh yeah, we're here, let's go out, let's drink, let's play games all night, and I'm like, I live here. I usually mow my yard during the week.
I was going to say, don't you mow the lawn like on Wednesday?
I have to figure out what day to mow the yard.
I mean, that's why I check into the hotel at BGG Con. Because otherwise, you're kind of in this weird real life zone.
Well, Travis got us a hotel room, but we just told him we were not going to use it. So it was like
I've got to get a
$1,000.
hotel next year. I'm not doing that drive anymore.
Yeah, it sucks. We had like a 20-minute walk, but yeah, I don't. Ugh. We used to drive like 30 minutes to get in and out. Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm driving an hour from where I live downtown every day, and it's too much, man. I'm there at 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning some days, and don't leave until 2 in the evening, so I can't do that next year.
I remember the worst was I slept in my car the first year I went to Gen Con at a truck stop.
Oh my
That was pretty
Lord.
stupid, too.
Made a little
I
extra
couldn't even
cash.
imagine.
I did. I didn't have any money, but I was like, I want to go to Gen Con. So I was just like, I'm going to sleep in my car, take a shower.
Man, Forrest, you got to learn. You're too humble, man. You got to learn the art of faking it to make it. My mutant power is like weaseling my way into situations where I don't belong.
I'm pretty good at that, but I'm getting better.
Yeah, no, you're not good at that, Forrest. You just told us you're sleeping in your car at a truck.
That was 5 years ago. That was a long time. That was my first Gen Con.
Just
I was only sleeping with 5 other dudes this year. I made it.
I believe in you.
With that, I think I gotta head off tonight, guys. Take it easy.
Yeah,
Take
me
it
too.
easy.
I gotta work on
Laters.
my real
Take it
job.
easy, Jeremy.
Yep. See you guys.
Later, boy.
See you.
Anybody see any horrible movies lately?
I haven't.
Any other pop culture stuff? I finally got my Blu-ray of Batman Killing Joke. I had watched over at a buddy's house, but now I'm gonna have my own copy that I can watch whenever I want.
Oh, I did watch that. That was a good show.
Yep. Well, it's just Kevin Conroy should always voice the Batman. He's perfect.
And Mark Hamill should always voice the Joker.
I would agree with that as well.
I saw Suicide Squad.
That is a giant bloated mess.
It was, I don't know. It was fine. I didn't think it was. I feel like everyone is really brainwashed with the Marvel version of how superhero movies are made.
Even Marvel screws him up now. So
There were parts of it. I thought Harley Quinn was great.
well, I think my personal opinion is that they realized going in they weren't going to have much of a movie, and so they just said, well, we're just going to make one character really, really good, and the rest of it can just F the right off, you know?
Jared Leto was fine. He surprised me. I was going into it expecting to hate him.
Did you see this latest thing where he was tricked into being in the movie? He thought it was going to be more of an artsy movie.
I
saw
never
them
was
quote
tricked.
it. I
I
saw
don't-
Like what?
I don't buy that.
No, whatever. Yeah, me neither.
They're probably just trying to get hype around it. Did you see the thing where Will Smith slandered him on a morning talk show?
No.
Well, he said, what did he say? He's like, I hate that dude. He came at 6 in the morning to the shoot wearing his outfit when they weren't filming him, screaming in people's faces. And then what else did he say? Oh, he threw a whole cup of lemonade on one of the actors. Like what? Like that's the reason. Yeah, that's like a pretty benign. I mean, it's like an asshole thing to do, but it's pretty benign, right? Like the Joker threw lemonade on someone.
Maybe it was in
Whoa.
character.
Yeah, I mean that's also
It's all to stir up the thing.
Yeah, I don't
It
believe.
stirs up.
I don't believe anything anybody says ever. So it's just the best way to do that. I don't know. It's the movie was a big giant mess. It just was. And if they had kept it dark, maybe it would have been better. But who knows? They still just don't know how to do DC.
I've never
Yeah,
been
but
a big DC fan, so I can't.
But the
really
thing is
complain.
that they make money, so they're like, yeah, you can give us all the shit ratings you want. We're still laughing all the way to the
billions of
bank.
dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, so doo-ba-doo, who cares?
And I will buy it when it comes out on DVD or whatever.
See, you're to blame.
Yep. I caught up on the night of. That show is amazing.
That show is astounding, though it's getting a little. I don't know. It's just it's gotten to also now this weird point where, and once again spoilers, so I don't want to give anything away, but the guy that's accused of the crime, like he's just doing dumb things all the time. So you're just kind of like.
I think that's part of the story, though. Like I think it's not. It's going to be revealed. There's hidden things so far.
Maybe, but it's just like it's.
But yes, he's doing dumb things.
It's dumb. It's
But
just
what-
dumb. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
But it's hard to like put yourself in the mindset of someone like that.
Well, that's
Where
fine.
you're sitting in Rikers Island for.
But here's the deal. So like they ask, like it's one of those things where it's like he's not really stupid, is he? I mean, like.
No, he's really stupid.
Well, maybe, but I mean, like, but he's supposedly like a good student. So I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where obviously it wouldn't be that good of a show if like he had something, but like wouldn't as a inmate, everything I read is that you can request protective custody, which basically you get put in a cell that you stay in 23 hours a day. You're allowed an hour out to exercise, but then you don't have anybody around you. So if he was really worried about somebody like trying to hurt him or something like that, like at the very beginning, like she says, do you feel like do you feel like you might harm yourself or others? If you say yes to that, it's like all of a sudden then you don't have to deal with it. I don't know. It just seems very.
There's things like that which I don't understand. Yes, but
Yeah.
I don't understand the inside of a prison either. It's
Yeah.
like who knows
Well,
what
no, yeah,
the realities are.
obviously, I've never done time, as it were. So, and hopefully I never will. But
Oh no, it looks horrific. Oh my god.
well, I mean, I remember I read a book, and I can't remember what the name was, but I read a book that it was about like the man's guide to everything. It was what it was called, and it was just like, and it was basically these two guys. They wrote a book about like everything that like theoretically a man would do, like. If you're in a fight, what do? Like you want to get a tattoo, just like all these things that supposedly, just like you want to go camping, and like tons of stuff. It was a big, thick book, and basically these two guys, they went to all these experts in these certain things that they researched, you want to bartend a party, that kind of thing, so, and one of the things were, you're going to prison was one of the things. And then they had this thing where this guy wrote this, basically talked about everything about being in prison and like talking about like what you can expect and what you need to do and it was like written in from the people that had actually served time, and like it was interesting. But there's a lot of things that like seem obvious, but like one of the big things in there is like it doesn't matter how liberal minded you are, get used to hanging out with your own race. You do not, it's just like it segregates the just like the prison population segregates by race. It's one of those things, because like even if you are open to like, talking to everyone, it's like you're just going to make more enemies, because there's going to be people on both sides that are going to hate you for trying to do that. And so like they say, the Shawshank Redemption doesn't happen. You don't have these two guys becoming best friends. It's just not part of the situation. So it's stuff like that. It's a pretty good read. You can probably find it.
They put Oz back on streaming now. You can watch Oz.
Well, yeah, because obviously this is
this resurrected it.
And I liked Oz back in the
I
day.
watched a little bit of it when it came out, but I haven't seen it all, so I might actually tap into that after this is over. Although the show is really well done, it's pretty like cringeworthy.
Which one, Oz?
No, the night of.
Well,
there's a lot of things where you're like, holy crap, just very well done.
I think Totoro does a very, very good job as the thing. Though it is sad knowing that Gandolfini was supposed to do that role. And he was supposed to.
Was he supposed to be that role or the detective?
Yeah, that was supposed to be his role.
Be the lawyer. Huh.
He was going to be the lawyer, and but Totoro, as I said, is very good. What is that?
What the hell? Sorry, it's a pop-up ad just came out of nowhere.
No, so yeah, In the Night of, if you're not watching that, strongly suggested checking that out. Yeah, I don't know.
I finished up Rick and Morty season 2.
Good stuff.
That's so good. It's so good.
It is so good.
The episode with Total Recall, which is the game based on the board game now, or the board game is based on that. I cannot wait to play that game. Oh, it's so good.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
What's your favorite line from that, Lance? Send me to Sleepy Gary.
Send me to Sleepy Gary. I mean, it just messes with you. We said never in the house.
So the episode I think after that, or where they're watching TV, and there's an advertisement for tiny food for tiny mouths.
Yeah,
that is so good. You're gonna eat some food, you. It's so obscene. Can't even remember how it goes, but
I like the two brothers.
Yeah. Well, the ads for the weird thing, the weird the ads for the weird the takeoff of Garfield or whatever.
The Zorpazorp field.
Yeah. And stuff like that is it's completely.
That show just has so many great things in it.
No, it's just it is
stuff in sci-fi that I don't read sci-fi a lot, so maybe this has all been done before, but I've never seen any of that stuff done. In movies or anything.
It's just really brilliant, and if you go, there's tons of fan theories about stuff that people are saying that if you go and look at which Rick and Morty are you actually following, because there's so many different Rick and Mortys, and how they theorize that they've changed things up, and you're not actually following the same Rick and Morty the entire time, and so there's all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, the alternate dimensions.
Yeah, so definitely if you check out what people's theory is, and the thing is that the guy who does it, who did Community, he's kind of a idiot in real life, but he's actually pretty brilliant. So, it's definitely worth checking out. And plus, like I said, the guy's it's just a funny show. It's just flat out funny. I think, and the voices are. The one thing people have said to me repeatedly that they say that they can't get past is the fact that he's burping all the time. And I guess that's what I was reading about it. He just sits there and he drinks.
Coke.
No, he drinks warm cherry Coke while he's recording a video. So the burps are totally natural when they come out. So it's so he goes it's the most carbonated.
There was a long string where I didn't see a burp, and then I think I saw some burps in the final few episodes.
And that's one of the things they say is that's when he is not drinking. When and then something happens to and then there's a purpose behind that. They say there actually is a method to the madness or whatever.
Okay.
So.
Man, I want to talk about the final episode, but I don't really want to. We shouldn't spoil it. That's a spoiler episode.
Well,
the last episode of season 2.
Yeah, it's quite the cliffhanger, everybody.
There's more to it than that.
Well, there is, but I liked how at the very end he's "Oh, we left you on quite the cliffhanger," and they do the whole thing.
Mr. Poopy
Mr. Poopy Butthole comes out. Yeah,
well, I didn't know Mr. Poopy Butthole was coming back, so.
Well, is this what it feels like to die? So good.
Oh my gosh, that episode. So Total Recall has to be one of the best episodes ever.
My favorite episode is the Microverse one, where they go
The Microverse, the battery,
the
car
battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite one, and it's really like my favorite line in that isn't even one that's just like a throwaway line when Rick asks like the second Microverse like mayor of town or whatever, he's like, so, or president or whatever, he says, so do you have any scientists working on any experiments right now? Yes, that's their job. It's all the guy says. Like, I was just like that line just cracks me up every single time. I don't know why. It just deadpans it. And then of course, then the guy flies his spaceship right into the wall. And
and they're in the living with savages or whatever.
Yeah, just totally peace among worlds.
Yeah, pieces of meat. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and it's just
I
like
like the episode.
how'd you know the car would start? Because there was one of two things that were gonna
One
happen.
of two things happen.
either my car was gonna start, or I was getting a new battery.
I was gonna, yeah.
What was it? Which one did you say? Oh, the one where he goes to like they go and he allows Morty to choose how they're gonna go on their adventure, and they go to the weird world where they're tiny, and everything is big, but he also gets like Morty almost gets assaulted in the bathroom. And he nearly.
Episode? Which episode?
You didn't see that one? He
season 1 or 2?
I think it might be season 1, and
I missed that.
he almost like he's in the bathroom, and this like weird alien tries to take advantage of him, and he almost thinks he beats the guy to death.
Yeah, he beats him up.
And then Rick sees him leaving, and he kind of puts one. And then at the very end, they're like bringing the mayor out, and it's him, and he's all bandaged up, and Rick just pops back in and shoots him with the laser gun, and he explodes. And then the secret ending. Did you see the secret ending because they have the after credits ending?
Yeah.
I don't remember it though.
So that one is like
I think these things pay for rewatching for sure. There's so many details.
So the secret ending to that one was that they got out of it or whatever, and like at the very end you see that the mayor of town has a statue in the middle of town, and the guy's like, truly he was a great leader. And then the guy walks up, he's like, sir? He's like, yes, we were going through his belongings and we found this, and he hands him this box, and he looks inside and he's like, oh, and then and he closes it. He's like, what do we do? And he sets fire to the box, and he's like it is his memory of what we thought he was is more important than what he truly is. Yes. And and the statue is with him on his hand on a child's shoulder or whatever.
Right.
It's just horrible.
Yeah. Now the one I'm thinking of that I liked quite a bit was the where he goes to visit the planet that is a sentient, like it's taken over the whole planet. It's like the hive mind.
Oh, and then it's his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, it's his girlfriend.
The sentience. Yeah.
The whole planet is taken over by this one being.
And he tells her, he's like, no, not like this. First of all, I'm gonna need 1,000 of the hottest redheads, and then everybody who even somewhat looks like my dad or whatever in the stands or whatever.
Very bizarre. Yeah, a stadium. Yeah. That was kind of interesting.
Rick, whatever. Yes, just good stuff.
Some good stuff there.
And the
now I want to watch. Now I need to go back and watch season 1 again.
Now I would say now you got to go back and watch. You got to go back in and watch Community, because it's the same guy.
Is it anywhere to be found? Is it on Hulu?
I don't know. I mean, you can
watch a good amount of Community. I didn't love it.
I liked Community until the last season.
Honestly, when they killed off Chevy Chase, spoiler.
Yeah, that's when I lost interest. I was done. I watched 2 episodes that season and I was out.
Chevy Chase.
Lance is the master of spoilers. There you go.
It's
Chevy Chase is
several
dead.
years old.
Well, but they didn't even do it on the show. It just
Yeah, they didn't because him and the guy who ran the show, they hated each other.
yeah. There's 110 episodes of Community on Hulu. Aldi.
Okay.
Absolutely hated each other, and there was like there was a a rap party for the show, and admittedly I've read several things that say that Chevy Chase is like the biggest
Sure.
dick. Yeah, biggest a-hole, and he's just tough to deal with, and it's probably true. But the thing is that like at the rap party or whatever, like the creator guy like got drunk or something, and he got up on the stage, and Chevy Chase was there with like his children and like even like I think 1 or 2 grandchildren, having fun, and then he got up and he just started like basically saying that Chevy Chase is a giant piece of shit and just like screaming at him on with the microphone or whatever, and like nobody knew where this was coming from, probably just pent up anger and rage over the entire season because of the going back and forth. And yeah, then he just basically said, screw this, I'm done. And then they had to kind of beg him to come back, and they actually fired the creator of the show, Dan Harmon? Yeah, Dan Harmon. They actually got rid of him for 1 season, and
that season was horrible.
Yeah, and it wasn't very good at all. And then they brought him back the next season, and then Chevy Chase lasted about like 5 episodes, and he just said, "I'm out of here." And then they just wrote him off the show.
We have 6 Jan Michael Vincents. Is it Jan Michael Vincent? Is that his name?
Jan Michael Vincent was Airwolf.
Yeah. There's a commercial with Jan Michael Vincent. We have 6 Jan Michael Vincents and 18 quadrants. It's one of the funny commercials that just popped up on my Hulu.
Yeah. No. That was. Yeah. So I mean, but there's a lot of like little inside jokes that they did for Community as well. Like they make a big you can find these on YouTube. Like they make it a point to like say like Beetlejuice, like the Beetlejuice Nebula, and like something. Oh, it's like it tastes like crunched up Beetlejuice, and then somebody says Beetlejuice again. Like, this is over the course of a season, like several episodes. And on the Halloween episode, somebody says Beetlejuice. And it's the 3rd time somebody said Beetlejuice. And in the background, walking behind them, is somebody dressed up in a Beetlejuice costume.
Okay.
Because you said Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And you just, like, stuff like that. It's like, it paid off over the course of, like, a season. Stuff like that. So there's a scene where, like, in the background, there is, like, a porta potty. And like they're having this conversation, and then like you see like the porta potty the door opens up, and in the entire scene a woman gets out, and she's like wiping her mouth, and then the camera doesn't cut away, and then like a few seconds later a guy comes out of the porta potty and he's pulling up his pants. So it's just like there's stuff like that where it's just like they snuck all this weird stuff past the censors and things like that. So there you go. If you like Rick and Morty, Community was.
I don't know. That's a big commitment.
It is. I know. It's so tough.
Community's not as good as Rick and Morty.
Pretty happy with Rick and Morty.
But it
is. It's good stuff.
It's a decent, weird sitcom, but Rick and Morty's way better.
I got other things. I recorded the OJ documentary while I was in Origins,
which was ridiculously good.
Yeah, so it's like 10 hours or something crazy long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to watch that. But I don't have a huge amount of backlog. I mean, there's that, and I think I've always wanted to watch Life on Mars. Not seen that.
I never have time to watch the shows that I want to watch.
No?
Yeah. It's just, there's all kinds of things. Like, I try to get into Mr. Robot, but after, like, the 3rd or 4th...
I gotta catch up on that, too. I watched that first season. It's great.
Well, but, yeah, I mean, it's just so tough to, like, care about that, because it's, like, none of the characters are likable at all. So it's like I need at least one character that
it was weird. Like, yeah, the first episode of Mr. Robot hooked me instantly. and then it slowly. I mean, I stayed hooked on it, but like you said, I didn't really love the characters.
Yeah, I mean,
And none of them were very good.
and after on the third or fourth episode, I was very, I don't know. I got out of it. It was like I just couldn't.
I think it has a good payoff. Like I mean, I watched it all. I liked it, and I started watching season 2, but it starts off on such a weird tangent that I was just like, I couldn't get into it at that point. So might go back to it.
Fair enough. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to trying it out and see what's going on. But other than that,
I guess we're done early tonight potentially.
well, potentially we can always find.
I'm running out of steam myself here.
You're running out of steam.
I'm sick.
Even
I got
Keith
sick.
is up.
I know. I'm like outlasting Keith.
Did you guys see the video of the guy who put a GoPro on top of a Hot Wheels car on the orange track?
How
No.
the hell did you get it there? Made for Hot Wheels.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. I mean, did you play with Hot Wheels when you were a kid?
That's
Of course.
okay.
Okay, so you remember, you would always wonder how cool it would be to be riding in the car
Yeah.
for your
Is
thing.
that what it kind of feels like on the video?
Yeah,
It's a
so
long track. Holy cow.
no, it's totally cool how the guy did it, and it's so cool. I mean, it's like very well done, and just
Okay, so he cuts through. I see where he cuts.
oh yeah, I mean, obviously he's
Yeah, you have to cut, right? So.
well, yeah, inertia is only going to take you so
Yeah.
far. But for
Pretty cool,
being a kid, though, I mean, I remember I used to set up. I had the set. It was my brother's set that I inherited, and it was like the two, so you could race them side by side. And I'd go down I lived in a tri-level, and so I'd stop at the top of the stairs, and I'd go all the way down to the basement on my on my cars, and it was I had jumps and all these things. I mean, my buddies and I would mess with it constantly, and yeah, man, it was I loved it. It was, and then when I saw this video, I was like, no way, that's so cool, especially when it goes into the water. There's a point where and I mean, obviously the camera's got enough weight, so it's holding
Yeah. How did he do that? I wonder.
yeah. So I mean,
There's a lot of how did he do this on this video for sure.
yeah, but very cool, and very cool the guy took the time to do it. Because I remember as a kid, I always sat there with my thing on how cool it'd be if you were sitting,
In the car.
in the car and driving around. I remember I used to because I was just so ridiculous. I used to pick up the car. I would get a new one. Like I would go to my parents got divorced, and so I would go with my dad on the weekends and or just some couple times during the week, and he would take me to some department store, and I would he'd allow me to pick a car out, And cars are cheap. You can go to my son just loves them, and he just picks them out and he collects them, and we'll go to flea markets where cars that were that are 5-6 years old, so they're out of date, that nobody wants them because they are kind of a weird collectible. You can always at a flea market, there'll be piles of them that are 50 cents, and I'll tell the guy, my son will pick out 8 of them, and I'll just tell the guy, yeah, I'll give you $3 or $2 for them, and they'll always take it. They're just fine, thank you, because they picked them up for nothing as it is, and then it just means they get the cash, and they get rid of the cars. But I remember I'd always get my new car, and I'd hold it up, and I would sit there, and I would put it on a table, and I would put my eyes right at the side of the table, and I'd sit there and I'd slowly spin the car in front of me, and I would look and see how realistic the car looked like to me, on all the different weird angles that it would look at. It looked like a real car to me. I don't know why, I just thought that was really cool, and I would just do that all the time. Man, I loved my Hot Wheels cars, and I remember when my son was 3, it was probably a little bit too early, but I remember for Christmas I was like, I'm buying him Hot Wheels. And my son's birthday is in October, and I saw that they came out with the Crisscross Crash, which was like
Oh yeah.
that
Does
was
that actually work?
mine worked like a dream, and I loved it. And now the Crisscross Crash it's a 4-car thing, so you have 4 cars and 2 tracks
Right.
zooming
Yeah,
around.
I remember having it.
Oh,
I don't think I had it. I think a friend had it.
I saw it, and I told my wife, I said, Caleb's getting that because I want to play with it.
I hope it works. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff doesn't work. You know, the modern toys like that. Like,
Yeah. Crisscross Crash.
don't they always just end up crashing?
But yeah, but that's the whole point. You wanted to see your cars smash into each other, and it made. I used to set up the jumps, and then set up blocks for the jumps to go through, and then I would I would be so excited about that, just and watch them smash the blocks and everything like that. Yeah, so here I just
I
pulled
had
it
a
up.
Crisscross Crash. I loved it.
Oh, wasn't it just the best, Keith?
Yeah.
It was.
My son had something that's similar. It's not a Crisscross Crash. It's got crazy loops and stuff, but it has an intersection as well and a power launcher.
Here, hold on. I want to share my screen so you guys can see this. So this is the new one. How awesome is that?
What are those stupid guards for? That's going to keep it from crashing.
Well, no, that keeps it on the track. I mean, that's got to be what it is. So
It doesn't fly off the rail.
But you want them to fly off the rail. That's the whole point.
But hey, do you see? There's even the little ramp that you feed them in. So you take it and you just so you can spit them in.
Oh, so the spinners are on the middle and the yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how sweet is that? I want to buy it for him right now. I want to be playing that right now.
Like, toys go out of print these days. Like, there's stuff that's not available. How much is it?
Oh, it's like $40.
$40.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting it for his birthday. I just and a big giant, and I'll probably get to the flea market here at the end of the year. There's a flea market in the Lakes Country where I go.
Hot Wheels look big? They
What?
look large. Do they look larger than they are? Is that how big they are?
There's
There's some kind of
very
weird
big.
scaling issue here.
They're still the same. I mean, that's just a rendering or whatever. But no, the excuse me. I'm gonna have to hit up the Crisscross Crash or whatever, and then I'm gonna have to go. I think I'm gonna go and go to the flea market. There's in the Lakes Country where I live in. There's this flea market that they held every Saturday and Sunday up until like Labor Day. I'll go there on the last day and I'll give some guy $10 and get like 20 cars for my son and get him that and a Crisscross Crash and then he and I can play that all day long and watch our cars smash into each other.
Cardboard
It will be amazing.
congregation in the chat. So it sounds like you want it for your birthday, Lance.
I do want it for my birthday.
There's the one my kid has, Lance. The triple
That's nice, too.
Twister track set.
I'll be right back, guys.
You will be right back.
I have to take a bathroom break.
Oh, that one looks awesome too.
Yeah,
Does it
some of
work
the-
well? I mean, do they stay on the track?
Works. Yeah, they fly around. You get the Hot Wheels that are weird shaped, like a van or something that doesn't really.
You know, for last Christmas, I got my kids. My daughter, because she wanted this. She wanted the K'NEX roller coasters, which once I got that thing together, it was amazing. But building that thing, I nearly lost my mind. I wanted, and then once I finally got the whole thing together, I was like, yeah, I'm never taking this apart because I wanted to murder somebody. It took so long, and of course my son would always go up and like yank on it, and it would break some part of it. I'm like, no, leave it alone.
That may have been me when I was moving my Star Destroyer to the new house.
Oh, Lego Star Destroyer?
Yeah, it started having pieces fall off of it, and I ended up having to craggle it.
Oh, you crackled it. I was just gonna say I got a buddy who has like whenever a new Star Wars things comes out, not like classic Star Wars, like the the classic 3. Any Lego for that, he has it and he craggles it. He has a room that he basically has that all set up.
Yeah, this is really the only thing I craggled just because it's too hard to put back together if it was to come apart, and it would be nightmarish. And it was falling apart. Pieces weren't staying stuck together anymore, and I had to move it across town, so it was a little bit difficult. It's 3 feet
Yeah.
long, so it's not a small Star Destroyer.
True. Well, that's weird. Is like the whole fact is
That is not the one I have.
yeah. Hmm. What are you gonna do? Where did he go? What is he
I
doing?
went to the bathroom.
He went to the bathroom.
He went to the restroom.
Anything else new though? Really?
Anything else new? Oh, no, I got nothing. I wasn't even going to come on because I was in one of those moods when I got up this morning. I was cranky all day, but I snapped out of it in time to come on, hang out. But yeah, I liked Mansions of Madness 2.0 enough that I actually threw a half-assed paint job on some of the figures so that they look about like the Fantasy Flight pre-paints. They can't look much worse than those, so I figured I would start painting on those guys. And I mean, 5-minute paint jobs is all I'm giving these things, but it looks better than just gray plastic. So I liked it enough that I started doing that. I think the app works really good with that game, and you can get that game up and running so quickly since you only have to set up the parts you can see. It's a fun game, and I lost the first game I played, and I won the second game. So it's not too easy, it's not too hard. We'll see how it goes from there when we get into more content. But
You will see how it goes.
I will see how it goes.
Yeah.
Played Castles of Burgundy, went back old school game. That's such a good game, and it looks so damn bad.
It's weird. I get an email probably once every 2 or 3 weeks. Somebody saying, "Can you guys get Castles of Burgundy and do a deluxe version of it?" And it's just like I don't know if people like just think that we have the ability just to grab a copy and deluxe it whenever we want or whatever. It's really weird. But anyway. It's a weird world we're in. That like we could just go up to Rio Grande and say, yeah, you're gonna go ahead and give us the rights to Castles of Burgundy. You know that game you sell a bunch of, and then we're gonna deluxe it out and make money off of it. All right. So thank you very much. So, but Yokohama had a update today.
Who's Barb?
Barb is our new employment in charge of customer happiness.
I thought that was you.
No, I influence the influencers, and I am the official Viking pillager. I'm
It's
also
so funny. It sounds like such a .com startup. You guys, influencer of influencers and chief customer happiness. It sounds like Tony Hsieh.
And then I'm the official Viking pillager. I'm the influencer of the influencers, and I will be the host of the TMG podcast, which will theoretically will launch sometime in September.
Are you guys gonna do
I thought
video?
we were
or
on
just
it now.
gonna-
What?
Are you gonna do video or is it just purely audio?
It's going to be audio. It's just going to be a podcast, and we're going to make sure that they. It's going to be me and one other person of the TMG family, and we'll just be talking about something that is important to TMG and to people that love our games. And so, like, We'll even have our resident money guy, just basically the math brains guy, Misha. If you've ever met Misha,
Misha's nice.
Misha is amazingly
What
nice.
time did you leave on Sunday? We went out to dinner with all the TMG guys on Sunday, and you were gone, I guess.
Yeah, when I make
You
my
snuck
plan.
out of there.
Oh, I left at noon. So.
You missed the teardown. Man, you should have heard them talk about you.
Really?
They were so. No, they had said nothing. Everybody was super nice. We went to the sushi restaurant. We had like 15 people in the sushi restaurant. Had the Spiel des Jahres committee, my team, and the Tasty Menschel team was there.
The SDJ guys were awesome to hang out with.
Those guys are awesome, aren't they?
I tell you
Oh
what,
my gosh!
that
Every time,
hanging
like
out with
they
you
just,
guys and those guys is one of my top 5 con experiences. Period. I mean, it was just awesome.
that was fun. Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
And,
Can you imagine just having to play all those games with those guys? Like they're pretty fun.
Yeah, and the funny comment the next morning. So the next morning, I took 2 of them. The 2 that
Martin,
yeah, it's Martin, and I forgot the other gentleman's name.
Tom, or
No, it wasn't Tom, because we were talking about Tom.
Christoph.
Christoph, yes, Christoph. I couldn't remember his name. So Martin, Christoph, and I went over to see where they had the adult code names for sale there in the hall because they wanted to see it, even though they found some at Target the night before. And we were walking by, we were talking about the scythe game you guys had played the night before, and how Tom just destroyed everyone. And Martin said, yes, he basically hiked his leg and pissed all over us and asserted his dominance. That was a direct quote of what he said.
It was funny because he basically said he was so tired that he didn't want to do a game where he would attack a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that just shows you in that game that it's not that big a deal.
Right.
Like even
But he did have to
like plan these attacks.
You guys.
Oh yeah. No, believe me, and I was working my brain to try to figure out how to stop him, and just could not.
Oh yeah, you made one mistake and your game was over at that point.
Yep.
And he was on his way. But I mean, you and Martin and Christoph were chatting it up, and Tom was just sitting there quiet, just deciding
He was really quiet.
Destroy all of you. But yeah, that was fun. And watching those guys, how quickly they caught on to just the strategies in a game they hadn't played, right?
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I think Martin kind of lost his way. He started getting it at the beginning, and then he kind of...
Yeah, I think he got caught up in the camaraderie versus the game.
Yeah.
And the other 2 never left the game.
Yeah.
You didn't have to repeat rules for them. That was
Nope. No, that was great. You know, the thing that was... I totally lost my voice that night. So, the 2 guys that were hanging around watching the game, they sat down... And they're like, can you teach us this game? Like, after our game was over, so I taught it again.
Wow.
I taught Scythe twice, and my
I
voice was
bailed
just...
on you for the second one. I just stayed there in case you got pulled away so I could keep your game.
Yeah,
on.
take my turns, whatever.
So
What a
we
nice
have
guy
to-
you are.
Yeah.
I was a nice guy, Lance. I had a really good time at Gen Con this year. I loved it. It was great.
I had a good time when
Having the hot games room was nice to go back to. Like, because once the hall closes, I really don't know what to do. Like, for me.
Right. I get kind of, I go and find stuff to do. I run into that weird thing where I get tired of the hall and there's nothing for me to do until time for it to close and people get out of it. But at your hot games room when I was helping babysit it Saturday night, I mean, that was a good time. I mean, it was super hectic at 8 p.m. when everybody was showing up.
Yeah.
But then when people started looking for games and wanting to know and looking at
you
it
become
and
an
asking
expert.
for recommendations, I'm like, well, I know enough about. I've been looking at this stuff in the exhibit hall for 3 days now. I can answer some questions and help you out. And you have a good time, and they're grateful, and people,
I got to meet some real nice people on Saturday night.
people were really happy with your room. And, I don't know how many people when they were leaving were like, oh, this was so awesome, blah, blah, blah. I hope you guys do this again next year. And I said, I'll be sure and pass the feedback along,
Yeah, we got a lot of good feedback on that thing.
They really enjoyed it. And, I mean, we had to turn away so many people at 8 p.m. that wanted to
We're on
come in.
generics. Was it generics?
Yeah, it was generics. Because the 8 p.m. slot was sold through. I mean, it was horrible. But at 9 p.m., those weren't sold through, so we were able to take generics at that point. and those people were happy to come back and be able to get in. But I'll tell you, next year, if you get the room again next year and it gets posted earlier, so you can plan for it, yeah, I'll buy out every evening of blocks just to have a place to go play stuff. I'll go squat on a table, sit there all night.
I prefer playing in the hotel type environment myself, so it worked out for me.
It was a little bit
like hanging out in those weird tables, those really long plastic covered tables that they have in the gaming hall are kind of uncomfortable.
Well, and it even feels better than the library at Gen Con as well because it wasn't quite as congested, and you knew that everything that was there were new games. And
only new games, right?
Right. It was only new games, and what you had to do to check it out, walk up and ask for it. Now, next year you may do something a little more sophisticated, who knows? But
I'd like to keep it as simple as possible. It was already quite a lot of work.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we just left sides set up.
Yeah.
And I ended up having to tear down a Cry Havoc. I thought we were just going to leave it set up, but nobody came and got on it. So I think they may have been afraid somebody had a game in progress, so I just went and tore it down.
Oh, yeah. People don't realize that the games are open to be played.
Right.
Because we only had 2 really, like, hot games style.
Yeah. And I walked the room even when I wasn't in there that night. I'd just pop in when I was in the Hyatt walking by, and I'd do a quick lap and see what's out on the table. So what do people want to play that's hot? And almost constantly I would see 2 Scythe, 2 Vast, 2 Islebound, 2 Cry Havoc.
Yep.
A lot of times 2 Isle of Sky.
I saw Isle of Sky. Imhotep got played a lot.
I saw 2 Imhotep most of the time.
Yeah.
And then I would usually see at least 1.
Arcane Academy. Arcane Academy got played a lot.
I did see it out when I was wandering.
Yeah. And BlackRock Council? No, Council of Blackthorn? Is that right?
I checked that back in once.
That got checked out a lot when I was around.
I saw people play with the Burgle Brothers Tower in there.
Yeah, the Burgle Brothers was awesome. The 3D tower. Yeah, it's cool. Tim Fowers gave us that. It was nice.
I saw the Holmes and Sherlock and Mycroft going.
I taught a couple that and watched them. I talked them through a game, which was really cool. I got to meet them, and that was nice. But, a lot of times people are like, why don't you play something? And it's like, well, I like teaching people playing, and I like to watch people play.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to play. I'm kind of like that, somewhat.
But
and then we played. You and I were playing. Oh no, it was me and Andrew. We played Captain Sonar after the room closed on Saturday.
Nice. I played Captain Sonar with Chris Miller from the Secret Cabal and a handful of other people in the hall one late afternoon.
I want to play Captain Sonar full 8-player.
That's the only way I've played it. I've not played it other than with 8.
We played 4-player 2-on-2 turn-based.
Yeah, turn-based, that game's no good. It's mediocre.
No, it's not.
Real time, it's crazy. And I explained it to a group in the Hot Games room how it worked real time. They'd played it turn-based, and they decided they weren't going to play it again. But they said, well, what's different real time? I explained it like, oh, yeah, that does sound better. I'm like, yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
But it's like crazy, hectic, and stressful, too.
Yeah, I don't know how I would react to that.
It's almost pure chaos, and if your radio operator screws up, you're done. You're never going to shoot anybody. One game we got in trouble. We got 3 damage on us. We had 3 damage on the other guys. We didn't know exactly where they were, but I had laid like 4 mines out earlier.
So you're just like
and I just chain detonated them, and I caught one of them in the blast and killed him to win the game. But I was just like, all right, you got to be somewhere around here. Boom, 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 boom.
Can you detonate everything at once?
Well, it's just I detonate it, and as soon as it resolves, it's like, all right, detonating mine, then I detonate the next one, and I call each one of them to see if
that interrupts the turn, right? Like that just stops.
That pauses the progress. Game detonate, so. And even if they tried to surface, they would have been repaired. They can't repair that damage anyway, so they'd be hosed. So you just can't escape once that happens. All they could try to do is run silent real fast.
Hey, what was your game of the con? I hate that question. What was your game of the con, Oldie?
Game of the con.
Like, you can just the thing that kind of took you by surprise, or
I think it's got to be vast.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard
Even
nothing.
though, even though Travis just took a giant dump on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Did he take a dump on it? I couldn't quite. I came in at the end of that conversation.
He's just not sure what he thinks of it yet.
But it's so different and so interesting that I'm like, so I got my copy here. Gonna bring it to the cruise and play it as much as I can.
Vast is the most interesting.
It's
game
the most
of
interesting, intriguing game that I saw. I guess.
That will
Captain Sonar.
that
pretty
will
amazing.
win the Dice Tower Innovative. I bet you money. Vast will.
Not too far.
Yeah, because I think Tom kind of likes it too. I don't know what my game of the con is. I like Cry
I
Havoc.
have to say
a lot.
Scythe too.
I really enjoyed Cry Havoc.
I did not get a chance to even really look at Cry Havoc.
Ice Cool's a fun little game.
Ice Cool, yeah,
that
that got played a lot too.
You know what my least favorite game of the con was? And it's not even the one I bagged on earlier.
Rimslingers has been kind of surprisingly mentioned a lot. It was kind of under the radar.
My best $10 game was from Haba. It was called Space Planets, which is a little dexterity game where you're rolling a die at cards, trying to land the die on cards, and then spin crystals you gather to claim planets for victory points and stuff. That is just stupid fun for $10. And I've played that game like 7 times since Gen Con.
I'm definitely going to give Last Friday a try. Like those are my So Seafall I'm playing this weekend. I'm going to read Vast rules and I'm going to read Last Friday rules in preparation for the cruise.
Remember
So
that
I'm
last
playing
Friday, the copies that were there had a small
Misprint?
printing.
Yeah, what was the problem? Do you know?
It's just
So I can-
the stuff doesn't line up correctly. It's still completely playable. It's just it
The
just
holes in the Maniac board are punched in reverse, so they don't line up with the numbers above it. So
Oh, I see.
count yourself and play it backwards on the board.
Oh, it's
Play
a
from
turn
right
number.
to left.
Turn numbers are wrong.
Yeah, the turn numbers are punched in the
So
wrong
I could
order.
just, yeah. You don't even really need that board, do you?
yeah. And they're gonna
You do.
yeah. You do need the board, but they are going to make they're going to make sure they get
Fix.
everybody the correct
Yeah.
stuff.
I emailed them and they said, yeah, we'll get something sent out to you. It'll be a while, but we'll get it.
Did you guys get to play Bloodborne?
I did not. At
It was
I
a
did
quick
not
game,
either.
right? So yeah, it was so quick. I was like, maybe I should. I just didn't get a chance to try it.
I watched Tom's review of it, kind of in the background where he talked about it, compared it to Cutthroat Caverns, but faster. Which sounds somewhat.
Cutthroat Caverns. I don't remember that one.
Cutthroat Caverns was the game that you had to cooperatively try to make it through the dungeon.
Okay.
But the only
But then, at the last minute, bail on somebody to
well,
let
no,
them die
no.
or something.
The only person who got any points for killing the monsters was the person who did the last point of damage. But if none of you work together, then all of you fail and all of you die. So you
Okay.
have to work together. But so it's one of those games where they're I call them kind of a David Ostlus game because David Ostlus, it seems like all of his designs rely on a dynamic of the group that plays it to agree to play the game in a certain way. Which sounds weird.
I know what you're talking about with
Yeah,
Panic
so-
Station.
Yeah, like all of his games, though. I mean, any
I have
of his
not tried Dark, Darker, Darkest.
Well, yeah, Darker, Darkest requires you to just kind of. Don't even get me. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Even the only game that I actually really enjoyed by him, I can't remember the name of it now.
Rogue Agent?
Rogue Agent, which I thought was actually a pretty fun game. I liked the pathing that the people took and everything like that. Once again, there has to be like an understanding of the players that are playing it, almost like in a weird RPG sense for the game to make sense.
Right.
So-
You can't push the rules beyond their boundaries, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and so
Yeah.
so Cutthroat Caverns was an all right game. I think it was like the Smirk and Dagger game.
Yeah,
that you
that's right.
watched.
Yeah, it's Spark and Dagger.
but yeah, that was the whole thing. Was you had to rely on people to not just basically say, "Oh, I'm not going to win now, so yeah, I guess we all die."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had that problem playing Cutthroat where somebody did that, so it's always been fun for me from that standpoint. But yeah, that would ruin the game if somebody did that.
The weird game for me, the game of the con for me wasn't a board game. It was an RPG, and that was Shadows of Esteren is what it's called.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, it was a big Kickstarter. They got a bunch of money on Kickstarter, and yeah, if you ever dig it out and look at it, it's a French. Like, I hate the description, but it's very apt. It's a very low magic medieval world. Think Game of Thrones, but even that has like a weird, almost like Call of Cthulhu-esque.
Oh, gothic horror.
Gothic horror,
Oh,
like
I love that stuff.
like the weird membrane between reality and unreality is fraying, and like if you look at that opening art of that,
awesome.
it's just like, yeah, you look at that and it's just like it just yells out dread, It's like, what is that thing? I don't know. Don't touch it. Don't go near it. There's something. So yeah, it is. So they had a huge bundle where you were able to give them like. Well, it was like basically it was like everything that they had. They'd printed off everything. They had all the Kickstarter books, everything there. And if you wanted to drop a chunk of cash, you could leave with every single thing that they have that in existence for it.
I saw a lot of good RPG. We did RPG block for 2 hours on Saturday.
Yeah.
Every single thing that got brought to the booth, like, I want to own.
Yeah.
In fact, I did grab the Blue Medusa, the Maze of the Blue Medusa. Have you heard of that?
No, what's that?
Google that. Google it. I can't describe it. It's so. Let me see if I can get a picture. It's a D&D supplement, it's a fantasy supplement, but it's really made for D&D. So this guy, what's his name? Zach Sabbath was his name. He did this painting, and then one of his buddies turned it into an RPG, like a maze, like a dungeon. I'm trying to bring it up here one sec.
Okay.
And it's cool. Like, it is neat. And it's got some very innovative type of RPG stuff where a lot of people don't care about such. He was saying that, you buy a supplement for a game and it doesn't do some of the stuff they do. Like, they have tabs, they have they have a superimposed map on the page of what, the maze is huge. Let me see if I can find a picture of the maze on here. I don't know if it's on here. This is just a sample. No. But the maze itself is super dense and super complex. And so, this little piece I'm looking at here is like one part of the maze, right? So see how the map is kind of grayed out, but it's zoomed in on this part. So you can kind of see it in context. And then the description's like what's in each room. So it's just a big dungeon room maze. And just some of the stuff they did in there is really cool, and the style is really, really neat. So we can find the actual. I think it's Seder.
Yeah, I'm on the website right now, and I'm desperately trying to find a way to order the book.
Yeah, I think it's just buy $50 here. It's $50.
Well, I'm on the Satyr. They're making it.
Yeah, do you see? Look at my screen.
Okay, I'm not looking at your screen. Where are you?
Do you want just the PDF, or do you want the whole book?
Oh, I want to buy the book, and I have a blank screen right now.
Oh, bummer. You don't see anything?
Yeah, we just see a blank screen on there.
Ew.
Just post post the link on the.
It's Seder.press.
I am at the Seder.press website, and it's like they are trying as hard as they possibly can to make it impossible to figure out how to buy it.
So scroll down.
Okay, buy the hardcover. There we
There
go.
it is. $50.
Goodness.
It's a very nice book. It's worth $50, and you can kind of see the.
How many pages is it?
Hold on, I've got it. Let me go grab it.
There's been too many times when I've purchased like a book, and I'm like, oh, this looks really, really cool, and then like you get it, and it's like, like it's like 20 pages long, and that's it. It's just it's a weird process or whatever. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I'm waiting for him to show the book. All right, hold it up.
Okay.
How many pages is it?
Let's see.
What? 140? 144?
268. But the quality is just so. I've never seen really anything like it. There's the maze. There's the painting. Is that coming through?
Oh well, yeah, you can kind of see it.
And then there's the map. And the painting, you know, it's a little shrunk. I guess the painting is a lot larger, obviously.
It reminds me a little bit of Lamentations of the Flame Princess.
It's the same publisher. So see how it's tabbed there? So depending on the section of the dungeon you're in, then you go to that. Let's see.
It looks like something that you own that you'd never actually use, but you.
I think I probably will never play it, but I'm interested in reading it. That's a lot of RPG books for me. Like I don't play it.
Oh, RPG books for me are totally about like reading it and then stealing stuff from it. You know, like Paizo for some reason recently sent me the horror adventures for Pathfinder, and I was just like, why? I don't play Pathfinder anymore. And I kind of looked at it, and I was like, what is that binging noise in the background?
That's my line.
Oh, no. So I remember but I read through it, and there was like some really cool evil magic items in there. So I'll steal that stuff and put them in my campaign, and then go from there.
The book is nice and shiny, glossy color.
So it's worth the 50 bones.
I think it is. Like it's pretty nice. Like, I've not really seen a book this nice in a long time.
The Shadows of Estrin books are amazing. All the artwork is.
I think I'm gonna grab that too.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think you can get the big bundle through them still. You can
cover like the linen cover, which is real nice.
Yep.
Another thing they did, the Delta Green guys came by. They're redoing Delta Green, which I've always wanted to try, and it was so expensive. I don't know if you ever looked into it. It's Cthulhu in the modern era, like secret agents of like the government and Cthulhu, Lovecraftian horror.
What was it called?
Like,
I'm sorry.
Delta Green.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was out of print for a long time and really expensive, so it's all coming back. The Call of Cthulhu 7th edition looks amazing. I actually kickstarted that, sitting back there.
Yeah, I'm still kicking.
That was crazy.
I'm still kicking my butt for not, because like the collector's books are. It's like they wanted like $300 for the collector's books there.
Oh, I didn't go that high. I think I just went soft cover.
Oh yeah, they wanted
the soft cover one with Sandy's like guide to the whatever.
I thought about it. I thought if I hadn't dropped all the money on the Estrin bundle, I probably would have bought that while I was there. But
so is the Estrin bundle still available, or is it only?
I don't. You could probably reach out. Actually, I'll give you. Why don't I give you my contact? I actually made really good friends with the guy there, and maybe I'll like CC you on the thing, and they'll probably, because it was like $200, but it's like
They have it on this bundle of holding page.
yeah.
Although that's like Humble Bundle for RPGs, but now it's turned into Shadowrun.
The what is it? The bundle of holding. Yeah, Shadowrun's Catalyst Games is really pissing me off right now because they keep coming out with more and more Shadowrun stuff, but you cannot buy the 5th edition book. It just doesn't. It just doesn't exist. Yeah.
Oh, it's not available yet.
Well, no, it's been out of print for a while now, so you just can't get a hold of it.
We did it.
I know, but you go ahead and look.
You can't find it. You're right. It's gone.
Yeah, it's Shadowrun 5th is it was one of those things too where I was gonna buy it and then I just didn't, and then now I'm like, well, I should have just freaking bought it because on the second market it's like jammed. It's like $150. You want it? $150. Just
it's weird how RPG books. It's weird to find books out of print, right? Because books can just be reprinted.
Well, it's not only that the books
on demand.
Printed. It's that there's just no reason not to. But I mean, I don't know. It
is weird.
It is weird, and it drives me crazy that they just don't have the stuff. The best RPG books for any D&D or anything like that are the stuff from Frog God Games, though. If you are an RPGer and you say like you need to own like the Rapanathuk Complete, which is like the biggest, deadliest dungeon you will ever probably never play.
I think you were talking about how massive.
Yeah, Rapanathuk is it's just massive. It's amazing. And now they're actually doing their whole Lost Land stuff. They just recently did a whole Vikings giant book called the Northland Saga. That's also just freaking amazing. So yeah, there's so many good RPG things coming out lately that I'm just super excited about.
Yeah, and they've kind of fallen by the wayside at Gen Con because it's board games.
Yeah, my first Gen Con, it was the opposite. It was mostly RPGs and minis. With
yes.
Being third, and now it's
flip flopped a little.
All the growth has been board games, and then you've had like WotC's pulled D&D completely out. And then other
WotC's out. They don't even come anymore, right?
They didn't come this year.
So
they were at Origins though.
Another cool RPG product I saw, and I almost grabbed this, was Fall of Magic. And I don't know. I've never played a storytelling RPG, but I don't think I'd be good at it. But it's like a 3-foot map or 4-foot map.
What is this now?
Fall of Magic by Deer Heart. What was it? The Heart of the Deernicorn is the name of the company. So heartofthedeernicorn.com. Fall of Magic. And it's a scroll. It comes in this huge box, like massively big. And it's a cloth scroll that you unwrap and you tell your story as you work through the map. Find it?
Yeah, what is this?
Yeah, it's pretty clever. It won an ENnie. It's a scroll in a box, and it's got a storytelling RPG attached to it. And it's awesome.
So, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, So
you go through the map, like, you kind of have to look at the video. Or do they have the map? See the map all laid out? You start on the left, and you, like, walk through the map, and you describe... Have you ever played storytelling RPG, where you make the story, there's no rules? Like, I've never done it.
I know what you're talking about as far as, I know what you mean.
So the map, it gives you prompts to be like, which way do you want to go? Or what happens here? And the map it's a double-sided map, and it's got a ton of stuff on it. I think the video is probably the most...
Well, she's whispering, and I don't like that at all.
Well, you could also look for I haven't posted it yet, but the RPG Geek. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty clever, and if I'm into storytelling RPGs, I would totally get this.
That looks cool.
Yeah, to have this giant map laid out. Really nice.
The most recent Kickstarter for Frog God that they had was for their giant city called Bard's Gate, which is like basically where all the adventures start. And one of the things was you could, for like $200, you could get a giant cloth map of the city. Basically, it was like a 4 foot by 4 foot map that you could just unroll and put on top of your gaming table, and so people could actually like see the city. And like, so if you're in the city, they could say, "Oh, I'm going to be over here," and be able to point to different spots and things like that. I was like, "That is amazing. I'm going to get that." And
It's still amazing that RPGs are innovative and still doing stuff. It's just, and in a big way. I mean, a lot of the stuff's like very cool.
yeah, no, I agree.
We kind of don't know about it. I mean, like, you know, I'm subscribed to a couple things in RPG Geek, but I don't follow it as much as I follow board games for sure. So,
If I could, I'd just play RPGs, because I'm weird. But
if you had the group and people wanting to play every day, you would play. That's all you would do.
yeah, I would just it's just so much more fun.
Rewarding?
It's just like,
Yeah, some of the best games I've had are RPGs for sure.
Yeah, I miss RPGs quite a bit.
I know. It's like as you get older, though, right?
Well,
Less
you
free
just gotta-
time.
Well, and you just gotta. It's harder to find the people, I think, overall.
Well, as everybody gets older and more.
Yeah, when you're in college and you've got nothing to do on the weekend,
college,
that's a
forget
cheap
about
way
it.
to pass the weekend.
Friday night. I'm not going to the bar. Let's go play Shadowrun, whatever.
when I was in college, that's what I did instead.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good cheap way to spend the weekend, man.
Yeah. When I found a good group in college, I was like, "This is awesome" because I don't have to go out to the bar.
No, I remember we used to like, there was the one guy that still lived in his parents' basement, and he lived in town, and like Saturday was head over to his house, and like he had the entire basement to himself, and so yeah, it was a bunch of like 19 and 20-year-old guys, and like we would get there a little before noon, and we wouldn't leave until like 3 in the morning. And we just played D&D all day long. We ordered in food multiple times. We took like breaks. They're like, "All right, let's walk over to the mini mart that's nearby and get sodas and stuff, and go do that." And then, but yeah, those were just really, really fun times. Just everybody having a blast.
I caught up with my college RPG buddies at Gen Con this year. So.
There was a lot of density at Gen Con. I don't know how much depth you guys got into with the booth crawl, but anytime I left the booth, I was like, I'd walk down an aisle and it was just, everything was really interesting, left and right.
Yeah, about Friday midday, I hit the wall of, okay, I think I've seen everything I cared to see, and I'm done. And I left campus, if you will, walked up, had a pizza, just sat by myself for an hour and a half.
You had the 30-minute pizza, right?
Well, it took them 45 minutes to make the pizza. So literally an hour and a half to just escape Gen Con. And then by the time I got back to the convention, I was recharged and ready to look and enjoy it again. And I just needed that little break right there to recharge. Made a world of difference.
Saturday day, I was feeling it. My strength sapping. I was good Thursday, Friday. It was good, solid. Then Saturday hit. And Sunday, I was just a zombie. I was just trying to make it through.
Yeah, Sunday I left early, man. I got up like 9 o'clock, said, "Let's go, we're out of here. I can be home in an hour and a half."
Yeah, there's nothing. You don't miss anything, I think, on Sunday.
Sundays, if you are somebody that likes to go to cool stuff and get stuff cheap, yeah, that's great.
Oh, do they have a sale?
Yeah, they don't want to take anything back, so they mark the crap out of everything at the cool stuff booth every year on Sunday. But you get a lot more kids in on Sunday because of the family day stuff. But
I have never bought anything from Cool Stuff or like Miniature Market or whatever at the con. I just haven't. I don't know. It just seems.
I've walked by it and it's just so jam packed. It's like I don't want to bother looking in there.
Well, usually they have stuff that's already out, and so I've already bought it from them if I want it. But I picked up Sushi Go Party or whatever from them at Origin.
Yeah. There was a lot of Australian publishers there this year. We had a ton of Aussies on the feed.
Good games were there.
Yeah, good games, Grail games.
which I've got to go look at the unfair videos, I guess.
Yeah, unfair.
Unfair
Yeah.
is.
Instead of it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not to actually talk about games, but Unfair is like a surprisingly fun little game. There isn't enough theme park games, and
There might be like 2.
yeah, and I loved Roller Coaster Tycoon. I loved Theme Park. So it was one of those things where it's a very, you actually like your cards kind of interlock together, so you can kind of build things up, and it's got it has the ability to mess with other people, but it isn't overbearing.
Was it for sale at Gen Con?
It was not. They do.
Okay.
He does a really weird thing. Kim Brellock, I think his name is. But he actually he does like a small print run of the games. So he does a print of 500 of his games or whatever. I don't know. And so he does it for 2 reasons. He does it, one, so he can make sure that the stuff that they have or whatever, if he decides he wants to change the card stock or
it's like a test run.
Yeah, kind of a test run.
It's still
and then
on a higher level.
Yeah, it's a very high level game, and then he hands those out to reviewers or and for demos and things like that. And then after the fact, he has them for spare parts as well. I mean, the box of mine, on the cover art of the box, it says review copy, not for resale. I mean, it says that on it. So I mean, it's a professionally printed game, but it is not meant for distribution or anything like that. He did the same thing for Monstrous.
Yeah.
He did that one too.
I
wanted to try Monstrous. Did you guys ever play that game where you flip the cards?
I did a review of it. It's fun.
I played it at Origins last year, and I backed it on Kickstarter, and I got it, and I've played it once.
I like the style of it, and I like that guy. He's a good
If you like card throwing games, it's the best
never played
card throwing games.
It's way better than that one that.
Maximum Throwdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, Throwdown.
Well, it's very similar to Maximum Throwdown, but it's got more going on, so it's a more interesting game.
I forgot about this, but Larry Lemke came by and gave me a copy of his Foe Hunters.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
saw it
done.
in the library.
It's done.
Yeah, he tried to give me one to send home, and I said I have got too much stuff as it is. So I'll say this, and I agree, guys. I'm hitting the wall too, so we might have to wrap up.
We can wrap up.
I'll say this: Gen Con may not have the UPS store anymore that shows up, but that guy that runs the Rico, the office, his name's Eric. That guy is the frickin' bomb. I went to.
Is that in the convention center?
Yeah, he's in the convention center. I went there on what was it? I went there on Friday at 5:00. I brought him. Rebecca and I brought over all the stuff that I decided I was going to send home. And he was even there on Sunday as well. I went over there. He specifically went out and ordered large boxes. I mean, ridiculous. I wish I could bring it over because I can't. It just these giant boxes that are thick. I mean, the cardboard is almost it's almost like a half an inch thick. So the boxes aren't going to get busted up. Super stiff and I brought and 2 years ago or last year I should say I went there and I had all this stuff for him. I had more. I sent back more. And I ended up sending 3 or 4 boxes worth, and he's like, "Yeah, it's you and a few other people. I had to get these." And he had this giant box, and that guy is a Tetris master. He was just bam, 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 finding a spot for each game, finding little holes. Anytime there was a little cranny, he would shove he had all the packaging that you possibly think of. Anytime there's a little cranny between games, he stuffed something in there. So then after everything was done. Everything was just Loctite inside the box.
Solid brick of games.
Yeah, it basically was. It was a solid brick of games. It weighed 83 pounds.
How much did that cost?
It was like $70. FedEx. It was just
terrible.
Yeah, and he's like, "How do you want to send it?" I was like, "I like FedEx," and he's like, "All right, cool." And
you can send it any way you want there.
He said, "Yeah, what do you want? You want postal service? You
gotta show me where that guy is. We actually rented a trailer to take everything back.
He was like, "Do you want postal service? Do you want UPS? Do you want FedEx? You let me know." And then he FedEx paid him the money. He gave me the tracking code. He said this will go out Monday, and I had my stuff on Wednesday. I've never had my games come back to me faster than with this guy. I mean, it was just like, bam.
I bet people don't know about it very much.
Well, it's just he's there, but it's just like you walk right by and you don't even think about it. I mean, I feel bad if by saying anything about it. It just means I'm going to have to wait in line next time.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
Don't say it
literally,
too loud.
literally, there was one person there and they were buying stamps in front of me. They're like, and then he was like,
knows about it.
and he just basically said, I don't sell stamps here. And
It
he's
does
like,
suck though that there's not that central FedEx or whatever it was. UPS.
well, and there is the one FedEx store that's in the one hotel that's nearby that you can go to.
Yeah, there's one in the JW Marriott.
Yeah. So, but like literally, it's like paid him, and it was, and then I had the last of, and then the rest of my stuff I carried home. I felt so smart. I got to the airport. I knew my bag was weighing a bit, and I was just like, I told my wife, I said, let me weigh mine first, because if it's too heavy, I'll have to move some stuff to your bag. She put it on the scale, 49 pounds. She was like, well done. I was like, yes, ma'am. That's 50 or lower.
I carry a little scale. I have this little $10 scale that I got on Amazon. You should look into.
Why would I do that when I'm a master and it's at
If you're a
49
master,
pounds?
If you're a master, then. But I hate that scramble where they're like, well, all I got to do is move it from this bag to this bag, and I'm now legal with your stupid weight.
That is. Hey, hold on one second. You talk. I want to show you guys one thing before you go.
Oh, crap.
Sorry to keep you up, man.
Yeah, I'm about zonked.
I should go to bed too. I'm still feeling the sickness.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I'm
Can't get over it.
looking forward to a couple games doing this, and then I'm getting excited thinking about those.
There's a lot of games. I mean, there's already 300 on the list. Have you looked at the list?
I started.
Are we gonna do a
it's too
preview?
early to look at that.
Are we going to do a preview again of that? Holy crap.
No, because I'm not going, so I don't care. I can't get any of it, so. I just want Adrenaline as soon as I can get it, and I want my Caravan copy because I play tested the crap out of that. So.
Yeah.
Those are my two must-have games this fall. And, I mean, I am super stoked on Adrenaline. I really liked it. So.
All right. So sorry about this. So, here's my Shadows of Estrin book.
Nice.
That's
different than what I was looking at.
So, so like, there's that creepy obelisk that looks like something.
Yeah, that's totally a Cthulhu thing inside of that thing.
So,
wow, look how thick that book is.
Oh, it's huge. It's the binding is amazing. So when I got there, I talked to this guy Michael, who actually knew who I was. He was like, "Hey, you're the Undead Viking. You should really check this out." I was like, "I was coming over to check this out anyway because this thing's amazing." And so, and he introduced me to the designer, and we talked for a little bit, and so then I bought the giant bundle, and then the designer was actually like one of the artists, and he said to me, he's like, "Do you want me to put any? Because if you were doing the bundle, you could put art." He's like, "Do you want any art, like us to draw anything on in the book?"
Cool.
And I said that'd be really awesome if you could do that. And he's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And then the guy Michael, he's like, "Why don't you have him do an Undead Viking?" And I was like, "That'd be really cool." And so the designer of the game, on the inside, you might not be able to see it. Yeah, he drew.
Wait, pull it back. All right, it's going. Holy shit!
He drew an Undead Viking on the.
That's
amazing.
freaking cool.
He drew
Wow.
So I was just like, awesome. Like I thought I'd have like a little
cool.
scribble or something, but no, he took.
That's a full-blown art piece right there.
Yeah, and just
You pay like $200 extra on Kickstarter for those things.
yeah. So
you got a freebie.
So there and I've been telling anybody who will listen to me that and the system is not heavy rules. It's totally perfect for a horror game because of the fact that it is not super. It doesn't hit you over the head with complex rules. Like the whole idea of putting, and I did a video blog today about RPGs, and I'm actually gonna try to do these like once every 2 weeks or so, just talk about RPGs because I love talking about role playing games. But like the whole thing and problem with horror adventures in like Pathfinder is that like you can't make people be scared. Like the whole thing is you can't like the whole when you're trying to do a horror adventure with Call of Cthulhu, it's like you have like this whole bleak feeling of like nothing we do matters. We're going to lose. You know, it's just like the person who goes insane last is like the winner basically, but you're all going to lose. You're all going to die. You're all going to lose your minds, you know. And so you can't do that with like Pathfinder. It's like, oh no, I'm scared. Oh, I'll cast remove fear on you.
There's too much.
You know, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like some evil creature from the night. Oh well, my +4 sword of flaming burst. I'll just hit it a few times and it'll be done. You know. Oh no, it's a rampaging waves of undead. Oh, I'll just cast forbiddance and then turn undead like 5 times, and now they're all dead. You know, you just can't. You can't be scared, you know, of that. But so this it has like basically, if your adventurers like run into the really bad stuff, you're dead. It's just like it's a great system. It's just, you know, and the whole thing is about, you know, just succeeding and you know, grasping victory, certainly from like the jaws of defeat, because it just seems like it's inevitability that you're not going to survive. But strongly suggest if you want to play something awesome. There you go.
There's a bundle. Oh, it's a PDF bundle. I want hardcover. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you can get the entire thing for $40 on Drive Thru RPG. I want the actual books.
Let me hold on here. Well, if I've got you,
if you find somebody to sell,
I know they do. Let me here. I'm going to email my contact there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to CC you on it, and then this like maybe he can hook you up. I mean, it'll run you like $300 or $250, something like that. Like I think that's what I paid. I think everything was normally $300, but they had a bundle for $250.
It's weird that they don't have it at all posted on their site. If maybe they're just done with it.
I think it's one of those things where this is all the leftover stuff they had from the Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah.
And so they don't have it in channels or anything. So.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna actually say a
out.
friend of mine who happens to run the RPGgeek.com website, who's worth $79 million. All right. Well, as always, thank you everyone for taking the time to listen and what have you, and go through the whole process. I don't know why you guys stay up with us and listen, but it is really cool that you do. Thank you guys for managing to stay awake as long. We needed Barry. We just, at the very least, we need.
It's not feeling well, I
They
guess.
standing for Barry, and they left because they're angry without him.
And I'll just say this. I actually talked to Richard today, and I told him to come on the show, and he said there was probably no chance because he was very tired and he was going to be sleeping in. So, but I tell him all the time. I send him the link every single time, and I hope that he wakes up and sees that he's at the link in his email and he pops on. Well, let's say this: I'm always excited to talk to Richard, but I know that when he gets on, then I'm not getting any sleep. So it also makes me kind of sad too.
Yeah, because I know I'll end up, if Richard pops in when I'm still up, I'll end up staying on.
Yeah.
Alexa, what time is it in Malta?
The time in Malta is 7:32 a.m.
7:32 a.m. in Malta.
See, and he normally gets up around 8:30. But he said he was going to be
off an hour.
Yeah, I don't know. So
yeah, it's a bit of a late one, 1:30 for him to pop in.
Hey, Lord Javi just showed up. Sorry, bud. Yeah, good night, Lord Javi. We're wrapping things up, but you'll be able to listen to the whole thing here in just a little bit. So, yeah, there you go. Thanks again, everybody. If you're interested in checking out that RPG blog, go ahead and I posted it to my channel. You can just find it there. Check out Unfair. Really good stuff.
Check
go
out
ahead.
Days of the Blue Medusa.
Yeah, I just bought that. I just dropped $61. $55 plus shipping. For the book plus why did I buy the PDF? I'm never gonna look at it. God, I'm an idiot. I should just pay for the book. Why did I do that? God, I'm dumb.
The book's nice though.
Well, no. I mean, when you get the PDF of the book, I never look at the PDF. Never, ever,
add
ever.
the PDF onto it.
Yeah, I never ever. But I saw, add $5 for the PDF. Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
I still like physical versus.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
that's an add-on though.
there's no comparison. But yeah, go check out Unfair, and there's a couple other games that I got reviews coming out with fairly soon that I think are very good. Lords of Rock, also I just did a review. Warriors Clash, and I think I got one for something else too. I can't remember.
Lords of Rock, they're local
one
to me.
From the Daily Magic games.
Oh yeah, Merchants of Araby. Oh man, is that game good? Why didn't I talk about that? That is a really fun game. Oh, complete and total open negotiation throughout the entire game. Like, play that card and I'll give you a coin, or I promise that I will, help you out next turn, but it isn't binding because the only ones that are binding are the ones that happen exactly at that moment. Oh man, so good, so good.
Well, check out your channel.
Yeah, there you go. Check out that stuff. So yeah, give them your hard earned. And
Plus,
plus,
gotten a lot of views.
check out that Merchants of Araby or whatever. The game box is going to actually unfold, and it will be the board for
I
the
don't
game.
know what I think about that actually.
I thought that was. It's so weird. It's just so. Yeah, it's so. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
We'll see.
I would worry a little bit about your game board getting all banged up.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Would be a concern.
I just got a shipment from Greece, and it was all banged up. The Pursuit of Happiness or whatever. It's all bashed up. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, loyal fans, and let's get out of here before Richard logs in, so we don't stay up all
Yes,
night.
we don't stay up another 5 hours.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.